mandatory evacuation.
The Hawaii National Guard right now is flying around the Big Island looking for potential landing zones. Guard members are preparing to launch into mass evacuations as more and more people become stranded from the lava.
Fox's Jeff Paul. A big breast cancer study finds most women with the most common form of the disease can skip chemotherapy.
The new study, funded by the National Cancer Institute, says many breast cancer patients can probably skip chemo and it won't hurt their chances of survival. Gene-guided testing showed that most women don't need treatment beyond surgery and hormone blockers, and chemo didn't improve survival. The study, being called the largest on breast cancer treatment, and involved early-stage breast cancer that has not spread to lymph nodes, is fueled by hormones, and is not the type targeted by the drug Herceptin. Results from the study, released on Cancer Survivors Day, discussed at a cancer conference in Chicago and published by the New England Journal of Medicine. Leslie Lotto, Fox News.
At least 7 people are killed in a suicide bombing targeting top clerics in Kabul, Afghanistan. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Clear skies, 59 degrees, 5:02. On AM 560, The Answer. A pleasant good morning. I'm Mike Scott. On this Monday, Illinois should have a new budget in place by midday. Governor Rauner is scheduling a morning news conference here in Chicago to sign the state's new $38.5 billion spending plan. Leaders and sponsors will be there, according to the governor, but no one is saying specifically who will be by the governor's side. Illinois State Police are investigating a fatal wrong-way crash on I-57 late last night that claimed the lives of 2. According to police, a driver was traveling southbound in the northbound lanes on I-57, just north of the interchange with I-80 when the collision happened. Police have not said yet how many cars were involved in that crash or which cars the victims were traveling in. An autopsy is scheduled for later today for the boy who was pulled from Lake Michigan in Waukegan. Law enforcement was called out late Saturday night searching for the child along Waukegan Municipal Beach. The search lasted 2 hours before it was called off because of poor conditions. A dive team resumed the search yesterday, locating the boy's body just around noontime. A former Chicago public school employee is dead. 3 others wounded following a drive-by shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police tell us Ari Armour and other victims were gathered outside of a birthday party along West 73rd Place when 2 people in a passing SUV opened fire. Armour had previously worked as a longtime security guard and assistant football coach at Hubbard High on the Southwest Side. Police are questioning a person of interest this morning following a deadly shooting over the weekend in Chicago Heights. Nicole De Leon was found shot to death in her home Saturday in the 2800 block of Chicago Road. An autopsy found De Leon died from multiple gunshot wounds to the head, and her death was ruled a homicide. 5 are hurt after a stolen vehicle crashes into a CTA minivan on in Chicago's West Humboldt Park neighborhood. An officer spotted that vehicle commit a traffic violation yesterday near Pulaski and Augusta. The police officer tried to pull that vehicle over before the driver took off, then crashed that minivan and hit a fire hydrant. 5 in the car were hospitalized. 2 remain in critical condition. The body of a Chicago boater has been recovered 4 days after the fire department diver trying to search for that body died in the Chicago River. The body of Alberto Lopez was discovered, his identity confirmed by the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. Meantime, firefighters, family members, and police officers paid their respects to fallen CFD diver Juan Bucio during visitation at St. Rita High School on the South Side Sunday. Visitation will be followed by a funeral later today. A lawsuit that challenges the rigidity of the Chicago restrictions on mobile food trucks will go before the Illinois Supreme Court. The state Supreme Court has agreed to hear the Laura Pekarik case. The Tribune says Pekarik owns LMP Services and runs a food truck called Cupcakes for Courage. She sued Chicago in 2012, shortly after the food truck regulations were introduced. Those regulations include food trucks to be at least 200 feet away from businesses that serve food and have a city-monitored GPS device to help facilitate health inspections. Now, the city of Chicago has said they have the right to balance the interests of food trucks and those of nearby restaurants. Pro-Second Amendment groups want a judge to block the northern suburb of Deerfield from enforcing its ban on certain semi-automatic guns. A Lake County judge has scheduled a June 8 hearing on the request for a temporary restraining order against that ban. It's scheduled to take effect June 13. The attorney for the Illinois State Rifle Association and other Second Amendment groups argue the injunction is needed to prevent village residents from facing confiscation and $1,000 a day fines. One lawsuit claims the village is violating state law that prohibits municipalities from enacting bans like that after 2013. John Lester and three relievers combined on a 3-hit shutout. Cubs blanked the Mets 2-0 at Citi Field. Nice weekend for the Cubs. Javi Baez stole home in the 7th to break a scoreless tie. Daniel Palka, Adam Engel hit back-to-back home runs as the White Sox capped a nice weekend for them. They wipe out the Brewers 6-1 in Chicago. Dylan Covey struck out 7 over 5, but Chris Volstad is credited with the win. Alan Gordon, Alec Katai each scored goals. Fire beat the Earthquakes 2-1 at Toyota Park. The news, a service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs? Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, 0 fees. Plus, students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 5:07, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
Every business needs great people, and the better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter revolutionized hiring. Their technology finds great candidates for you. No wonder 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. Goodbye post and pray. Hello ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The expensive mattress you're considering buying is a waste of money. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, the only place to get a customized mattress starting at just $600. Just go to HelixSleep.com, fill out our 2-minute sleep survey, and we'll design a mattress made just for you with a 100-night sleep trial and financing as low as 0%. And during our Memorial Day sale, go to HelixSleep.com/talkradio and you'll get up to $150 towards your mattress order. That's HelixSleep.com/talkradio.
There's always that time of day when the sun creates havoc at the office.
This is ridiculous.
You're literally blinded by the light. Can't see a thing on your computer monitor and feel like you're baking in an oven. Make your office or storefront distraction-free with custom shades from 1-800-4BLINDS. You'll keep your customers comfortable, protect furnishings and decor from fading, and have happy, productive employees that don't have to stop in the middle of a project because of the glare. 1-800-4BLINDS can get the job done quickly with their local in-house installation crew. You'll save money on window treatments that not only look great, but will also help you shrink utility bills with special heat-reducing shades that can trap heat between the window and shade. They also offer custom painted solar shades with your logo or photo image printed directly on the shade. Get the sun out of your eyes. Call 1-800-4BLINDS direct for a consultation today. 773-447-5448 or visit 1-800-4BLINDSchicago.com. That's 1-800-4BLINDSchicago.com.
5:10. Let's get an early morning update on the roads. We do that, as always, in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And get the latest with Jim Telemonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike.
Inbound Kennedy, just east of 190. There was a stall. It just cleared out of the left lane. So things are looking good on the Kennedy at this hour. The Eden, the Eisenhower, and the Stevenson are fine. Same goes for Ryan. I-57 all clear. Everything is open near Country Club Hills after the major wreck in that area last night. Lakeshore Drive, everything is open near Diversey after there was a shooting in that area. Tollways are good at this hour. No problems to report in Northwest Indiana. We'll have heavy traffic around St. Rita today for that funeral for fallen Chicago Fire Department driver Juan Bucio. That's a noon funeral. And starting today in Barrington, 14 will close for rail crossing work from Willow and North Avenue until Friday. Traffic service of LifeLock. LifeLock Identity Theft Protection has added Norton Security to help protect you against cyber criminals. Protection, your identity, and devices. Go to LifeLock.com. Enter promo code RISK for an extra 10% off the low starting price of $7.99 a month. Terms apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast comes from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, and with our latest forecast, meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today breezy with a full day of sunshine, high 80. Tonight turning out to be partly cloudy with a late night shower in spots, low 60. Stray morning shower tomorrow with clouds and even some sun, high 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
56 at O'Hare, 60 along the lakefront. This morning it's 52 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So could the president shoot Jim Comey and still not be prosecuted? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. That's what Rudy Giuliani said.
Yeah, to the Huffington Post, this after he made the rounds on the Sunday morning television programs. He made that bizarre hypothetical. That's what I'm calling it. The hypothetical.
So here's the thing. I understand the need to illustrate a legal argument, their legal argument, as part of explaining this 20-page memo that Trump's legal team delivered.
I thought it was leaked.
Well, but it's just such an odd illustration to choose because, I mean, it really undermines this notion that we're a nation of laws, not men, and all of those men are, and women, you know what I mean, are equal under that law. Yeah. So it's just an odd way to say. I just don't like that explanation. There's a number of things. I don't know if Giuliani is the best mouthpiece for making the arguments that are contained in that 20-page memo, or just generally making the argument on behalf of the president.
The only one who can defend President Trump is Kellyanne Conway. I thought about it while I was watching Giuliani just make a mess of things all over the networks and cable TV shows. They bring back Kellyanne Conway. I mean, I know she's not a lawyer, but he wasn't really, this Giuliani doesn't seem like a legal expert, a brilliant mind in the matter of law. So why not just bring back a spokesperson who knows how to defend him?
I don't know about with respect to where his mind is in legal knowledge or expertise or strategy.
But you as an attorney would never make a hypothetical of if he shot James Comey in the middle of the street.
Yeah, I don't know why Trump and his friends continue to use this I could shoot somebody illustration. I could shoot somebody on Madison Avenue?
This is what he said. It was in Sioux City, Iowa, back in 2016.
My people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
Yeah,
it's like incredible.
Yeah, okay. I just don't know why that metaphor is used over and over again. So anyway, Giuliani saying, you picking up on Trump's campaign rhetoric of how loyalist people are, and this is how much power the president has. And then
How much power does he have?
But the real, the more interesting thing is whether or not he's going to sit for an interview, whether or not he's going to comply if he were subpoenaed. And Giuliani made it clear that they would fight it.
Do you and the president's attorneys believe the president has the power to pardon himself?
He's not, but he probably does. I mean, he has no intention of pardoning himself, but he probably does. It doesn't say he can't. I mean, that's another really interesting constitutional argument. Can the president pardon himself?
You think it's an open
question? I used to run the pardon attorney. It would be an open question. I think it would probably get answered by, gosh, that's what the Constitution says, and if you want to change it, change it. But, yeah. In addition to the constitutional issue, which will be, a complex one, we admit that, although we think we have the better argument. The one that's definitive is the OLC, Office of Legal Counsel in the Justice Department, wrote a memo at the conclusion of the Clinton thing, the Clinton administration, and said, you cannot indict a sitting president, nor can you compel process. So it's part of the rules of the Justice Department. And Mueller is
Has he responded to the letter?
Has not.
No response to the letter.
And Mueller is completely surrounded by the rules of the Justice Department and agreed to follow them.
Right. So, I mean, there's a couple of things there, right? One, him talking about whether or not Trump could pardon himself. And again, the question, why would he need to? If nothing...
if there's no there's no collusion.
If he hasn't done anything wrong, then why would he need to pardon himself? This is where I don't understand Giuliani's communication again. So he could shoot Jim Comey, and also he could potentially pardon himself. It's an interesting legal question. Why would you even open up that question? Why wouldn't you say to Stephanopoulos, I don't know, it's an interesting legal question. It's irrelevant here because the president doesn't need to pardon himself because there's nothing to pardon himself over because he hasn't done anything wrong.
See, that is the best answer. And Chris Christie went on to say on This Week Later, saying, well, if the president pardons himself, then he will be impeached. There's no question.
Well,
but the fact that it was even brought up in the first place is very odd. And then I just think he got tired at the end of the day and just started spouting off like, he could shoot James Comey in the middle of the street.
Well, again, this 20-page letter that was sent to Robert Mueller.
And how somehow landed in the hands of the New York Times.
As happens. I mean, there's a lot of argument, or a lot of speculation, I should say, that despite all of the suggestion that Mueller runs a tight ship, no leaks on USS Mueller, that Andrew Weissman and others that are more politically minded, arguably, are actually talking to the press, are actually leaking information. This was a 20-page letter that was sent to Mueller back in January, and it contended, among other things, that the president cannot illegally obstruct the probe into Russian election meddling because he has the power to terminate the inquiry, or even, as Giuliani argued, the power to pardon. Now, certainly, he does have, unarguably, power over the executive branch. And I thought Rich Lowry made a good point about this memo in National Review. Can you commit, and this is the same thing that Dershowitz has said, too, can you commit obstruction of justice when you're exercising your lawful powers? And the argument is, well, maybe if you're exercising them as part of a cover-up for unlawful ends, but then that would be outside the scope of your lawful powers. I don't know, it gets into a bit of semantics. But he actually goes to the memo, the argument that they make here, and reminds Mueller, does Trump's lawyers, of what Mueller said, of what Comey said, and of what the president said. He in the memo, even if we were to ignore the White House's version of events and take Comey's understanding at face value, Mr. Comey did not confront the president, nor did he report the attempted obstruction, quote unquote. He did not let this go, and he received no further communication from the president or any other person from the White House on the matter. This is regarding the, let this Michael Flynn thing go.
Oh, okay.
He didn't let it go. He didn't report attempted obstruction. There was no additional communication between the president and Comey on the matter. So where's the obstruction? Mr. Comey made it clear a couple of times that number one, they were not personally investigating the president. That's what he told President Trump in their March 30th meeting, 2017 phone call. Not personally investigating the president. and that after all of this, for at least a time, his relationship was fine. The New York Times reported, following that March 30, 2017 call, Comey said, quote, his relationship with the president and the White House staff was now in the right place. I think we've kind of got them trained. On March 8th of 2017, Comey told an audience at the cybersecurity conference, you're stuck with me for another 6.5 years. And Trump's lawyers argue that, he indicated he expected to serve the remainder of his 10-year time, which belies any sentiment that he was suffering under the pressure of a presidential directive he was refusing to execute. So that's Comey. Then they go and remember the interview that Trump did with Lester Holt, the sit-down he did?
Oh, yeah.
And they kind of talked over each other when it was the issue of firing Comey. Why'd you do it? But remember, the president said, I'm just going to read the part of the transcript here. As far as I'm concerned, I want the Russian investigation, to be absolutely done properly. When I did this now, firing Comey, I said I probably maybe will confuse people. Maybe I'll expand that. I'll lengthen the time because it should be over with. It should be, in my opinion, should have been over with a long time ago because it's all an excuse. But I said to myself, I might even lengthen out the investigation, but I have to do the right thing for the American people. He's the wrong man for that position. So Lowry concludes, is Trump maybe guilty of impure thoughts about the Russian investigation? Maybe. But that's not a crime, and it shouldn't be a central element of a wide-ranging special counsel investigation. And that's why, frankly, I don't know if it really serves Mueller's interest to have this memo leaked, because it just recounts what Comey said, what Trump said, how things were after this alleged, let it go, possible evidence of obstruction. And so, where does the evidence come together for any kind of obstruction charge or even any kind of basis for an impeachment proceeding? It's just difficult to make out. The more that you look at this case, including where individuals have been charged, like the Papadopoulos case, the flimsier Mueller's work product looks at this juncture.
Yeah, he looks desperate. Like he's grabbing at straws.
So that's why, like the Giuliani thing, I understand they think they're in a strong position, and based on what we know that's public, it seems like they are. But I just don't. Then why would you get into the business of whether or not the president can pardon himself? Why would you? He could shoot Jim Comey. Basically, look, this is a guy who did nothing wrong. This is an investigation that hasn't produced any evidence of any wrongdoing at a senior level or any wrongdoing even with the Russians as it pertains to the Trump campaign. We're more than a year in, and so it's put up or shut up time for Mueller. That seems to me a better argument to make. Chris in Aurora, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan, I'm looking at this more from like a bunch of men sitting at a table playing poker, and they're, I guess, indicating how strong their hand is versus it being more of a legal matter and them saying legally they can do this or constitutionally I can do that. What they're doing is they're using media and us as the audience to kind of posture themselves with their hand. And that's what I believe Giuliani's words were, basically, was saying, we could do this and get away with it, signaling to Mueller that, basically you're going up a wrong tree here. You might as well back off because this is what we're willing to do or how far we're willing to take it. Now, that could be a bluff on their side, too. I don't know. But I think this is more just political posturing than it is anything.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. But here's the thing. Why take that posture exactly? I mean, you can communicate that we're not going to comply with the subpoena. We're going to fight it. We think we have the better constitutional argument. You've got nothing, Mueller, without coming across as so imperious. You know what I mean?
See, but the reason why, Dan, I think they're doing that is because there's a lot of people, you'd have to admit this too, that are ignorant in regards to what exactly we're dealing with here. I mean, some people don't know the first line of the Constitution, let alone deep into it and what it says. So I think what they're doing is using words to kind of like corral the audience here to say, okay, this is what we could do because we can do it. And on Mueller's side, I think what this is just a matter of Mueller's side running the clock out. He wants this to go as far as he can to closest to November So that way people go into the polls thinking, well, there's this whole looming thing going on with Trump and this investigation. Maybe I shouldn't vote for him. I think that's all that is on their side, is to try to continue to keep this narrative alive, even though it's nothing there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then on the other side, you have Giuliani and them basically continuing to say, we could do this, we could do that. And then now you're trapped with, okay, there's hardcore people that are going to vote one way for Trump. There's hardcore people who are going to vote the other way for the left. And then there's this small sliver in the middle that doesn't understand or doesn't keep up with the topics. And that's what the battle's over. That small sliver in the middle going, okay, when they go in there to pull the lever for whoever they're going to vote for, whoever was able to win this show that we're watching every day on TV, Evolve, that's who's going to be the next president. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Chris. Yeah, I mean, I get the argument that you're making. I just don't know how many more graphic metaphors we're going to have to endure between now and November. President Trump could dismember Jim Comey and dump the body in the Hudson Bay, and we're still not going to comply with the subpoena.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You know, to be honest, if I were you, I'd buy 2 Zippers. I'd have one at home, and I'd have one portable for travel. Not that long ago, I fell asleep in a movie theater. I guess I was snoring so loud, the usher came to me and escorted me out. I was humiliated. I got kicked out of the movie theater. I mean, I paid my, $200 for a movie these days? Now, if I would have had my Zipper, I don't bother anybody for the movie. Order a Zipper, ZYPPAH.com, Zipper.com.
Use promo code 420 for free shipping.
Every business needs great people, and the better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter revolutionized hiring. Their technology finds great candidates for you. No wonder 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. Goodbye post and pray. Hello ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. If Roseanne gets canceled, so should Samantha Bee. Who? It's someone you've never heard of, who has a show you've never seen, who said something vile about Ivanka. Oh, okay, yeah, fire what's-her-name, too. And if Bob Iger is going to apologize to Valerie Jarrett, when is he going to apologize to President Trump? Who? For what? He's a network executive you've never heard of, whose opinion you otherwise find irrelevant, who employs on-air personalities who have said profane and ignorant things about POTUS without consequence. Okay, yeah, apologize. Empty outrage is not synonymous with standing up for yourself or putting in the fight for others. It's just an uninspired substitute for having standards. What Valerie Jarrett termed a teaching moment during one of MSNBC's signature hastily assembled bigot-baiting town halls is actually a trap for conservatives. Jarrett wants you to give in to the left's lack of principles by abandoning yours. Outrage one-upmanship is a two-player game, you see. So ask yourself, do you think we beat them by joining them? Or is the move to be who they say they are but are not, and in so doing give lie to who they say we are and are not?
I've been suffering from depression for about 45 years. I've probably been on 5 to 6 different antidepressants. And even when they did work, and there was that underlying feeling of depression, and it would never go away. Just call one of the treatment centers and just talk to the psychiatrist or doctor, and you'll be on your way. I'm Christy. I'm a wife and a mother and a real estate broker, and I no longer suffer from depression.
HPR centers in Chicagoland and Milwaukee offer TMS therapy. In just a few weeks, you can change your life, and it's FDA cleared. It's covered by most insurance, including Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and Medicare. You can make real progress in the battle with depression, cure or remission. Get a free consultation. 800-604-0208. 800-604-0208. HPR centers. Go to endmydepression.com. End your depression.
Wow, what a difference. I feel like I live in a brand new home, and it's all thanks to CertaPro Painters. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and while we were on our trip, I gave CertaPro Painters a key to my house. They came in, painted the living room, master bedroom, and it is impressive. Nothing like a fresh coat of paint to change the vibe of your house. CertaPro Painters are trustworthy. Obviously, I gave them a key to my house. They're professional, talented, and they clean up their mess. It's as if they were never there. And now that summer is coming, you're going to want to hire CertaPro Painters too. You know, family and friends will be over for outdoor entertainment, and you want your house to look its best. Get your porch painted or stained. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. Once again, get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Did You Morning... What? Let me try that again.
The who? What? I don't know what you said.
3, 2, 1.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, did you know that Chicago is a Trump-free zone?
I did. And $172 million for his library. Is that enough for Illinois taxpayers to give to former President Obama, who's better than us? Are we doing enough for him is the question at 5:38.
I thought our tax dollars weren't paying for this.
You're so naive.
Oh, boy. But first, let's go into the newsroom to a man who is good with words. Here's Mike Scott.
This morning we have clear skies, 56 degrees along the lakefront and at O'Hare. Representative Will Hurd thinks there are enough votes in the House as soon as this week to bring several immigration bills up for a vote. On CBS's Face the Nation, the Texas Republicans said they're adding votes every single day.
And we're adding votes every single day. We're engaged in conversations to figure out, is there another path? I don't believe that there is.
He said right now is the time to solve immigration problems in the country, also saying the U.S. does not have operational control over its southern border. Iran is trying to build up support to push back against the U.S. decision to pull out of the Iran nuclear deal. Iran state media saying the country's foreign minister sending out letters to counterparts in that deal urging them to reject the U.S. decision. Rudy Giuliani says the president could most likely pardon himself but has no intention of doing so.
There's another really interesting constitutional argument. Can the president pardon himself? It would be an open question. I think it would probably get answered by, gosh, that's what the Constitution says, and if you want to change it, change it.
On ABC's This Week, Trump's personal attorney says it's an interesting argument to have. Primaries are set in 8 states tomorrow. We'll watch voters cast ballots in California, Alabama, Iowa, Mississippi, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, and South Dakota. Oil prices are down for a second straight session. Record U.S. production and talk of higher output from OPEC and Russia are now keeping a lid on prices. 2 large wildfires are burning in New Mexico, fueled by drought-stricken trees and brush. The Buzzard Fire and the Ute Park Fire have torched thousands of acres. 3 in Hawaii are out of danger. They had to be airlifted when lava from the Kilauea volcano cut them off. Illinois could have a new budget in place by midday. The governor has scheduled a 10 a.m. news conference to sign the state's new $38.5 billion spending plan. Illinois State Police are investigating a fatal wrong-way crash on I-57 from Sunday night that claimed the lives of 2. Most women with the most common form of early-stage breast cancer can now safely skip chemotherapy without hurting their chances of beating the disease. Doctors from Loyola are reporting a landmark study that used genetic testing to gauge each patient's risk. The study is the largest ever done of breast cancer treatment, and the results are expected to spare up to 70,000 patients a year here in the U.S., and many more elsewhere, the ordeal and expense of chemotherapy drugs. Cubs blank the Mets 2-0. White Sox beat the Brewers 6-1. The news, a service of LifeLock. LifeLock Identity Theft Protection has added Norton Security to help protect you against cyber criminals. Protection for your identity and devices. Go to lifelock.com now, enter promo code RISK for an extra 10% off the low starting price of $7.99 a month. Terms apply. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher always asks the tough questions.
The President of the United States says, I'm demanding an investigation into whether or not the highest levels of justice ordered a surveillance of my campaign. If you believe in transparency, what would you care if there's an investigation? Why would you be intimidated by the president wanting to get to the bottom of it?
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
You are a hero. You may not fight killer robots, but a crabby toddler can be a formidable foe. Luckily, you're armed with a Chrysler Pacifica. Its best-in-class Uconnect theater can defeat any temper tantrum. And when cargo space is in danger, Pacifica's trusty class-exclusive Stow and Go always comes to the rescue. Get a great deal at the Chrysler Incredible Sales Event.
Available feature based on the FCA US LLC Premium Minivan segment. Chrysler and Uconnect are registered trademarks of FCA US LLC.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, Todd, Liberty Mutual just saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Maybe I should switch to Liberty Mutual.
Visit us online to... Hey, stop echoing.
Sorry.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
5:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Southwest side, a rollover crash on 31st west of Pulaski at Kamensky. Edens Expressway is clear. Kennedy inbound. Little slow 190 to Cumberland. 21 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Seeing some congestion now in westbound 190 approaching the airport. About Eisenhower, at a 2-minute delay, 17th Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue. Mount Stevenson delay start at Lamont Road. It's already 46 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 22 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Tollways are good. Traffic Service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs? Discover Student Loans, one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, zero fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Breezy, pleasant. Nice sunshine today. High near 80. Remember the sunscreen if you're out. Partly cloudy. Showers and spots as we head toward dawn tomorrow. A low of 60 and stray morning showers tomorrow and cloudy in the afternoon. We could see a break of sun very late with a high of 69. Currently 56. Next news at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee. Roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And as Mike Scott reported, Governor Rauner set to sign yet another phony baloney budget. That's what we do in Illinois, that they claim is balanced, and they'll celebrate the bipartisan nature of it and how they all came together to do this wonderful thing of spending $1 billion more plus than we spent last year, despite the fact that we have $250 million in debt.
Did you see Jim Durkin's interview on Friday? He said he's like, I'm almost in tears. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah.
Oh my God, stop, pull up your big boy pants and wipe your tears.
They're so proud of themselves.
I mean, seriously, patting themselves. The self-adulation was just disgusting.
So among other things in the budget, I mean, it's all, it's not all, but a lot of it is gimmickry. Again, have not had a truly balanced budget in this state since 2001. And you wonder why we are where we are, but don't change out the political leadership of either party. Please don't do that. Let's keep this up. So, for example, they sell the Thompson Center 3 times. They just keep selling it over and over again to generate the necessary revenue they need to close the budget gap in terms of how much they want to spend versus how much revenue is anticipated by the relevant agencies, the green eye shades guys that calculate this. Also, the spending plan relies on as much, almost $500 million in pension savings. With
how are they doing that?
With buyouts.
Oh.
But the problem is the buyouts for Tier 1 pensioners are voluntary. So you're asking state workers to voluntarily cut their pension.
Who? Yeah. Please raise your hand if you'd like us to cut your pension. We need volunteers. Move to the front of the line.
Yeah, I mean, those are just a couple examples. Oh, here's something else.
Well, what's in it for them?
What's in it for who?
The people that want to take a cut in their pension.
Well, you'd argue that, well, this is a way to net present value, take a lump sum,
right.
And this is a way to ensure that you get,
get paid because other people down the line might not get paid.
that, a dollar today is worth more than a dollar tomorrow. But yeah, more out of, concern about how long is this house of cards going to stay up, and so maybe I should take the money and run. Difficult to calculate that. Also, there's this that's in the budget. $172 million towards construction of the Obama Center or library or whatever the hell it's called, being built in Chicago. $172 million.
I thought that was all going to be donated, the money to build that.
Construction and maintenance will be funded by private donations and no taxpayer money will go to the foundation. Quote, unquote. That's what an Obama Foundation spokesperson had said.
Yeah, they've been telling us since day one when they were choosing sites. Remember, it was going to be either here or in New York, possibly Hawaii.
$172 million of our money, is that the least of what we owe President Obama? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
I don't want to give a dime to that museum. I'll give money to that museum when I go see it and I pay an entrance fee.
I'll give a dime to it when I understand exactly what it is.
Well,
is it a center? Is it a museum? Is it a library? Is it a
golf
kids
course?
park?
Is it a
golf
they're
course?
building a golf course next to it that I think Tiger Woods is going to help design.
Uh-huh.
And then there's grass on the roof, which is weird, and trees.
Sure.
It seems to be eco-friendly.
Is it a solar farm? Is it a wind farm? What
It's
is
a bike
it?
trail, and then there's hoops, and then there's a golf course, and then there's...
Is it a Turkish bathhouse? I want to understand what it is.
There is a sauna in the basement. No, it's a museum. It's a complex.
Oh, it's a complex now.
That's what I heard. It's the President Obama Presidential Library and Complex.
And museum.
Midnight basketball, huh? Sign up your teams now. 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Grant in Rockford, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, you guys. Listen, I'm a young state employee, and I'm ashamed to admit it, but 30 years old, I'd take a pension buyout right now if they'd stop stealing from my check for the next 20 years that says I will not have to pay into all these other people. As far as the Obama complex concerned,
you're tier
it's
2.
complicated.
Grant, you're tier 2,
What's
right?
that, Dan?
You're a tier 2 employee then?
Tier 1, I believe, rule of 85, whatever that means.
Okay.
It combines years of service with age, and it's pretty convoluted, and I try to stay out of it. I do my own thing and set aside my own money because I don't trust these snakes as far as I can throw them.
That is smart,
But
yes.
as far as I'm concerned, the Obama complex, it's complicated, but it's slush fund to line the pockets of everybody except the people that live in the area. So you guys have a good morning. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks for the call, Grant.
I'm looking forward to a new museum in the city. We've been to every place you could possibly go.
Is it going to be like the East Bank Club, or what is it going to be? Is it like a multiplex? Are there going to be pickleball courts? That's what I want to know. Dave and Racine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I was just wondering, where's Chance the Rapper? He seems to object to spending money on a police training facility that would actually help save lives by, improved training of police. But the idea of having, a shrine to Barack Obama, who, if the stuff about his domestic surveillance and tyrannical activities, is supporting someone who's, not really that worthy.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the call, Dave. Chance the Rapper, he brings that up. Well, that's sort of one argument that one could make if we weren't indebted to Barack Obama, so the force of taking our money seems more appropriate. And that is $172 million. You don't think Obama could raise that money from his Hollywood friends?
Of course he can. Wait, I feel insulted because I have been lied to. They have told us since day one that this is not going to cost any taxpayer money.
But remember,
to build it.
Yeah, well, you're right.
Well, to build it, but then what's $172 million for? To maintain it, to
the construction and maintenance, yeah. This is towards construction. $172 million towards construction is how it's indicated.
Oh my gosh, President Obama and Michelle, they could produce more on Netflix, please. Start getting
sure.
Getting
yes,
on that.
right.
More
yes.
films, more documentaries.
Well,
they have big galas. Raise the money that way.
Well, here's the thing, though. You have to remember, you're not factoring this in. And this is an interesting column from Maureen Dowd, considering it's a column by Maureen Dowd, reminding us that President Obama is too good for us. Or at least he thinks he is. This new book from Ben Rhodes, the guy who talked about how he was the puppet master for all of the D.C. press corps marionettes, creating that echo chamber on the Iran deal and other matters. Ben Rhodes, national security.
Isn't his brother in charge
counselor.
of CBS News?
Yes, David. Sure,
David Rhodes.
exactly.
Okay.
They don't talk though, so don't worry about any
okay,
conflict
yeah.
in terms of coverage. Dowd writes, as President Obama always found us wanting. We were constantly disappointing him. He would tell us the right thing to do and then sigh and purse his lips when instructions were not followed. Shortly after Trump was elected, Rhodes writes in his new book, The World as It Is, that's the name of the book, Obama asked his aides, what if we were wrong? So you think, this is Obama with a moment of self-doubt. No. In the next breath, the president made clear that what he meant is, what if we were wrong in being so right? What if we were too good for these people? Maybe we pushed too far, President Obama continued. Maybe people just want to fall back into their tribe. Sometimes I wonder whether I was 10 or 20 years too early. Future man got here too early for us.
Oh.
You see. So evolved is Obama that it would have been better had he come 10 or 20 years later when we were enlightened enough to understand his greatness.
Yes.
We failed him.
Yes, we did.
And thus, $172 million for the people of Illinois, from the people of Illinois seems
so ridiculous. Pay for it yourself, you snob.
Paula in Glendale Heights.
Oh, hi. How are you?
Good.
No, I just wanted to make a comment about the pension. I myself have worked for the state for 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
I love what I do, and I love working for the state. But it makes me a little sick when I think to myself that the people of Illinois are going to have to be paying for me until I'm, old and dead. I would much rather buy my pension out, and it's on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me handle my money.
Yeah,
That's
no.
all.
Oh, yeah, right. Thanks for the call, Paul. Right. You probably don't want it at 60 cents on the dollar, though. Larry in Bartlett.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. Look, you guys are missing a real obvious point here.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember right, the facility is going to be built on Park District land, which means they're going to need Park District people to work there and then city people to supervise them and then the state to oversee everything. So we're going to have a few thousand people working there who we have to generate more pensions for. So obviously they need more money.
That's an economic boon, is what you're saying. You're going to have
well,
all
if
that
you're
public...
on the political side.
Yeah, thanks for the color. All that's public
be
sector employment.
Everyone from all over the world is going to come to Chicago to go to the Obama Presidential Library Center.
Complex museum,
golf course, sauna.
Right, pool and tennis club.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
That golf course, is it going to be 9 holes or 18 holes? I think it might be 9, just 9, but a challenging 9.
Is there any that would be so appropriate?
No, a 12-hole golf course would be such a chick thing to do.
What 9-hole course? Like I mean, who plays 9 holes?
Women. Well, we play
Right.
12. 18's too much. 9's not enough.
You play. It's a 9-hole course, and you have to wear a bike helmet when you play.
And mom jeans. Today, gosh, words are hard. Today, breezy and pleasant. Plenty of sunshine, as you can see. It was out early, around 5 o'clock this morning. The sun rose. A high of 80 degrees. And then tonight, partly cloudy with a shower in spots and a spring morning shower, otherwise not as warm with clouds and sun. High tomorrow in the upper 60s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Morning, 80-40 day at South Side. 119th is closed. Green Street and Peoria near Holstead for shooting investigation. Everything is open on Lakeshore Drive near Diversey after a shooting in that area last night. 190, it's heavy now from Kennedy to Tri-State with airport traffic. Kennedy running 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, up on 22. Ike 33 minutes, 390 to the Circle. Stevenson 46 minutes, 355 to the Drive. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, the school year is rapidly coming to an end, and maybe you're looking back at this past year and you aren't too happy with your child's school experience. Well, now's the perfect time to start thinking about doing something different this fall. Don't you send your child back to a school that just you aren't happy with. Start thinking about sending your child to a private school at half the regular price, thanks to our good friends over there at halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from all over the Chicagoland area, places like Calvin Christian School in South Holland. There's Good Shepherd Lutheran in Downers Grove, St. John's Lutheran School in LaGrange. The list goes on and on. Full year of tuition at half the price with no catch. So find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school next fall. Make private school affordable for your family for the first time, but act quickly. These vouchers always sell out. Visit halfpriceschools.com. That's halfpriceschools.com.
The warmth of sun is here for you to enjoy the great outdoors. Feel like an instant getaway with a beach vibe and fun for the entire family? There's a place nearby you're going to want to check out. Bridges Waterside Grill and Bridge Inn in Michigan City, Indiana. Bridge Inn is the perfect place for your Lake Michigan escape. Amazing attractions like the Uptown Arts District, boutique shopping, beaches, the zoo, casino, and museums are all in walking distance. Bridge Inn offers year-round lodging, but you can take in the sunshine at the Bridges Waterside Grill through September. Grab a cocktail and dine on fish tacos, burgers, and wraps with lots of vegetarian and seafood options. Book one of 14 suites at Bridge Inn before summer sells out. Bridges is located near the rotating train bridge on the Trail Creek waterfront in the heart of Michigan City. Don't visit Michigan City without stopping by the Bridge Inn and Bridges Waterside Grill. For more info and availability, visit bridgeinnmc.com. That's bridgeinnmc.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
You know, I think the grass on the roof that you were talking about.
Yeah, that people might frolic on but don't fall off.
I think that's for the Chum Gang.
Oh,
Paul in New Lenox, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, guys. Just two quick questions. I was wondering, is the Nobel Peace Prize that Obama got, is that going to be the focal point of the library, or can we still get, like, the Star Wars Museum in place if it would actually generate revenue?
Yeah, good question. Thanks for the call,
Star
Paul.
Wars Museum has already been built and is up and running in Los Angeles, which is a perfect place for it.
You're such a Star Wars nerd.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. If Roseanne gets canceled, so should Samantha Bee. Who? It's someone you've never heard of, who has a show you've never seen, who said something vile about Ivanka. Oh, okay, yeah, fire what's-her-name, too. And if Bob Iger is going to apologize to Valerie Jarrett, when is he going to apologize to President Trump? Who? For what? He's a network executive you've never heard of, whose opinion you otherwise find irrelevant, who employs on-air personalities who have said profane and ignorant things about POTUS without consequence. Okay, yeah, apologize. Empty outrage is not synonymous with standing up for yourself or putting in the fight for others. It's just an uninspired substitute for having standards. What Valerie Jarrett termed a teaching moment during one of MSNBC's signature hastily assembled bigot-baiting town halls is actually a trap for conservatives. Jarrett wants you to give in to the left's lack of principles by abandoning yours. Outrage one-upmanship is a two-player game, you see. So ask yourself, do you think we beat them by joining them? Or is the move to be who they say they are, but are not, and in so doing give lie to who they say we are and are not? Dan Proft here with Ryan Kelly. He's the home loan expert, homeloanexpert.com. And Ryan, we know your business is getting people homes, refis, but what do you do when you're not doing that?
I guess that answer depends on if my wife is listening.
Yeah, right. There you go.
And I mean that in a way that, you know, as a business owner, I struggle. I walk a fine line between running my business and working hard for my clients to get them great mortgages and spending enough time with the family, you know. And as my wife and I have been married 10 years, we have 3 kids. And as you know, it takes a lot of time to be around the kids and do everything to be a good father and a good husband. So when I'm not at the office working on mortgages, I'm just like everybody else. I like to go to sporting events. I like to have people over for barbecues, and really big into giving back. Giving back means a ton to me, my family, and the company. Refinancing or buying a house, don't get abused by those other lenders. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. Thanks, Dan. The Home Loan Expert, LLC.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything. And here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. And download today.
Are you ready to take your golf game to the elite level? The Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training Program, or BEAT, is the highest level of training designed to maximize potential and develop highly skilled players. You'll learn from the Bolingbrook Golf Club's world-class instructors. They've designed practice schedules and content to maximize player development. For the athlete that aspires to compete and train at the highest levels, check out BEAT, Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training. More info at bolingbrookgolfclub.com.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
5:57. Let's get an update on the early morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Traffic is building around O'Hare, northbound Tri-State. It's heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve, but Adams Tollway stop and go from the Tri-State onto the Kennedy. Those delays continue to Cumberland. It's about 22 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 25, westbound 190 traffic is slow. Edens is looking good. The Eisenhower with inbound delays starting at Wolf Road. It's now 45 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 33 with crash at East Avenue in the center lane. Mount Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Iron, 20 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 22 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishop, 426. Crash reported near 115th. Traffic service of LifeLock. LifeLock Identity Theft Protection has added Norton Security to help protect you against cyber criminals. Protection for your identity and devices. Go to LifeLock.com. Enter promo code RISK for an extra 10% off. Low starting price, $7.99 a month. Terms apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Full day of sunshine today, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. High today 80. Partly cloudy with a shower at a few spots toward dawn, low of 60. Then a stray morning shower, otherwise some sun, high 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
56 at O'Hare. Sunrise in Chicago. The news, a service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs, Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, zero fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 5:59. Here are the stories we're following this morning on AM 560, The Answer. State of Illinois may have a new budget in place by midday. The governor set to sign a new $38.5 billion spending plan. Former Chicago Public Schools employee is dead, 3 others wounded following a drive-by shooting on Chicago's South Side. 5 are hurt after a stolen vehicle crashes into a CTA minivan in Chicago's West Humboldt Park neighborhood. A lawsuit that challenges the rigidity of Chicago restrictions on mobile food vendors will go to the Illinois Supreme Court. Cubs blank the Mets 2-0 at Citi Field. White Sox wipe out the Brewers 6-0 on the South Side. Steph Curry broke an NBA record with 9 threes as the Warriors beat the Cavaliers. More Dan and Amy after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
You can't make him do anything. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. That's what one of President Trump's attorneys says about forcing the president to testify in the Russia election meddling investigation if it comes to that. In Washington, here's Fox's Rachel Sutherland.
Chris, calling the Russia probe a long nightmare for the American people. Attorney Rudy Giuliani said President Trump's legal team would fight a subpoena from the special counsel. He also told ABC's This Week he believes the president has the authority to pardon himself.
He probably does. He has no intention of pardoning himself, but he probably does. It doesn't say he can't.
Giuliani said exercising such a pardon would be unthinkable and would lead to probably an immediate impeachment. He added the president has done nothing wrong and has no need to consider pardoning himself. Chris?
And Rachel Giuliani argues you can't charge a sitting president with a crime. You have to impeach and kick them out of office first. Former President Bill Clinton says,
if there were a Democratic president and these facts were present, most people I know in Washington believe impeachment hearings would have begun already.
He was on CBS Sunday Morning. Not much progress is reported out of trade talks with China. Fox's Simon Owen has more on that live from London.
Chris, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross has left Beijing after a weekend of talks with no sign of a breakthrough. The U.S. delegation departing without making a public statement, and China hasn't detailed any new agreements. The latest talks coming amid threats of a trade war. Last month, China pledged to significantly increase its purchases of U.S. goods and services. But after President Trump threatened fresh tariffs last week, China saying if that happens, all previous agreements are off. Chris?
Simon, thanks. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in Germany today, France and England later this week, trying to convince the leaders of those countries to amend and toughen the Iran nuclear deal now that President Trump has withdrawn the United States. Netanyahu also wants Iranian troops out of Syria. Fox News, fair and balanced.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. And hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Abbey Equipment in Streator and get more tractor.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales director you're looking for.
But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Wow, what a difference. I feel like I live in a brand new home, and it's all thanks to CertaPro Painters. Hi, Amy Jacobson here, and while we were on our trip, I gave CertaPro Painters a key to my house. They came in, painted the living room, master bedroom, and it is impressive. Nothing like a fresh coat of paint to change the vibe of your house. CertaPro Painters are trustworthy. Obviously, I gave them a key to my house. They're professional, talented, and they clean up their mess. It's as if they were never there. And now that summer is coming, you're going to want to hire CertaPro Painters too. You know, family and friends will be over for outdoor entertainment, and you want your house to look its best. Get your porch painted or stained. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated. Once again, get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Every business needs great people, and the better way to find them. Something better than posting your job online and just praying for the right people to see it. ZipRecruiter revolutionized hiring. Their technology finds great candidates for you. No wonder 80% of employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site in just one day. Goodbye post and pray. Hello ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The expensive mattress you're considering buying is a waste of money. Hi, I'm Christian von Rickenbach, founder of HelixSleep.com, the only place to get a customized mattress starting at just $600. Just go to HelixSleep.com, fill out our 2-minute sleep survey, and we'll design a mattress made just for you with a 100-night sleep trial and financing as low as 0%. And during our Memorial Day sale, go to HelixSleep.com/talkradio and you'll get up to $150 towards your mattress order. That's HelixSleep.com/talkradio.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and it's time to do a bit of an intervention on Amy per the education of what have become to be both of, all of our sons, Peyton and Eli.
Yes.
Your sons are our sons.
Exactly.
They're the show's sons. They're Salem property.
Exactly. And they've been on the air here during the strike. They did a commercial. They've helped out. They've done
Scabs?
some voiceover work. No.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank
We
God.
brought them in during the 5th day of the strike. I think that was 2010. When was that? When did we go on strike? I can't remember.
I don't know. I wouldn't
Because I was so
participate in such a
bored.
thing.
I'm like, you're coming to work with me.
This study out from the Thomas Fordham Institute by UCSB, University of California, Santa Barbara. The
banana slugs. No.
That's Santa Cruz.
I have a cousin at UC Santa Cruz and UC Santa Barbara,
Come
and
on.
they're the water moccasins.
No, that would be interesting. That'd be a unique nickname. The Gauchos. UC Santa Barbara Gauchos.
Gauchos. I wore those in the 70s.
Wait,
Wait, what's a gaucho?
You're going to have to Google it.
Oh, here we go. I gotta Google.
It's the only way you're going to learn.
Gauchos.
The Fordham Institute and University of California, Santa Barbara, Associate Professor Michael Gottfried, along with a couple of doctoral students.
It shows a pair of pants.
Yeah.
Gauchos.
It's like a cowboy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me. Go on with your story.
The academics looked at two waves of national data on elementary school students collected under the Early Childhood Longitudinal Study for the National Center for Education Statistics, which I know you've read.
Of course. I put the copy back on your desk.
Thank you. I hope you didn't smudge my margin notes.
I didn't.
They compared children in Catholic schools with those in public schools and other private schools, religious and secular.
And
we're going to talk about the Catholic school difference, and we'll take your calls to encourage Amy to allow me to set up a GoFundMe page to fund the Peyton and Eli Catholic school education.
To Paul Prep.
The authors found statistically meaningful evidence that students in Catholic schools exhibited less disruptive behavior than their counterparts in other schools. Boy, this is an interesting topic, too, given the backdrop of school shootings and violence at the K through 12 level. So there's, sort of a...
Did you hear what happened on
more,
Friday?
More salient aspect to this than normal.
On Friday, a student from Lane Tech, 14-year-old girl, grabbed her dad's assault rifle, took a picture, and said, "Don't worry, I won't bring it to Lane." And he got in trouble. He's a Chicago firefighter. He got charged because he didn't properly store the weapon to keep it away from other people in the family.
Well, here's the results of this study. Catholic school children argued, fought, got angry, acted impulsively, and disturbed ongoing activities less frequently. Now, the authors concede their findings are not causal, for all of you econometricians out there. So there may be unobservable differences between students in different schools that account for striking difference they found. But the correlation is strong between the focus that Catholic schools put on self-discipline and better student behavior. Also, importantly, especially in urban areas, Black and Latino students who attend Catholic schools show higher achievement and higher graduation rates and higher college enrollment than those at nearby public schools, which is certainly the case in Chicago. It's the Monsignor Michael Boland formulation. We don't educate children because they're Catholic. We educate children because we're Catholic. So the authors of this study offer 3 key judgments. Schools that value and focus on self-discipline will likely do a better job of fostering it in children. Catholic schools tend to take discipline pretty seriously, and they have the stick to impose it, and so the children are better disciplined.
So do they still?
Seems logical.
Do nuns still walk around with the ruler?
I think that's a relic of a bygone era. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I was kidding.
But perhaps they should around public schools. Dispatch like tactical teams of nuns to some of these public schools. They'll shape it right up.
I'll never forget the Catholic schools in El Paso, Texas used to slap kids on the wrist if they spoke Spanish. Because I had a lot of Hispanic friends there that didn't speak any Spanish. And I was wondering, why wouldn't, if you grew up with your parents speaking Spanish, why wouldn't you? Like, nope, Catholic nuns would smack our wrists if we were speaking Spanish. Had to speak English.
Well,
I'm like, okay. That's an ancillary issue, but just...
The only way you're going to learn the King's English. So you've got the self-discipline is one takeaway. Second, other schools might consider both explicit and implicit methods to replicate this Catholic schools effect, they're terming it. No excuses, charter schools are already doing this through the curriculum or the way students interact with adults and teachers who model self-discipline themselves. A good example of this would be urban prep academies in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Tim King's operation.
I know.
It's for black men, young men, of course, suited up, ties.
Every day.
I've gone to their little poker tournament fundraiser the last few years.
I'm the one who brought you.
Yeah.
Or suggested you.
And I mean, these kids are killers, academic killers.
I meet them at an East Bank Club. They always take a tour, and like any questions you have, and they'll converse with you. Well, they're engaged. They care.
They're squared away. They're going on to college. A lot of good schools are coming back and helping the next generation of kids behind them. I mean, so it's an impressive operation. So this is what the authors of the study are talking about.
Do you think now that I got Peyton's DNA test and he's 28% African, I could call Tim King?
No. Third, don't underestimate the power of religion to positively influence a child's behavior. Religion isn't the only way to foster self-discipline, but it is effective compared to most of the alternatives in channeling youthful energy into productive self-control. Yeah, like, regular mass attendance that you get in Catholic schools. Or like what they do at Northridge Prep, and I think Willows too, where you've got a free period where you can go to chapel or you can, quietly study. But the point is that you institute this kind of culture of discipline and reflection and, the demands of a grown-up. So 3 takeaways for Catholic schools, and against the backdrop of the failure of public schools. Here's the way the public schools are going, right? This story out of the New York Post. Here's what Bill de Blasio, the Sandinistan mayor of New York City, as Larry Kudlow termed him, here's what he's doing, unveiling a plan this weekend to boost Black and Latino enrollment at the city's 8 specialized high schools by scrapping admissions tests. 20% of the seats at the 8 schools would be reserved for low-income applicants. Just
20%?
20%. The kids in the Department of Education's Discovery Program who scored just below the admissions cutoff would be given one of those saved seats, the 20%. He wants to replace, does de Blasio, the single test system with new admissions criteria based on middle school class rank and state test scores. And, of course, who's discriminated against the most when you start to play this game of distribution by race rather than academic performance or wherewithal? Who gets discriminated against the most? Asians.
Oh.
Asians. They make up Asian kids in New York, for example, are at this dominate the city's top high schools. 74% of the population is Stuyvesant, 66 at Bronx Science, 61 at Brooklyn Tech. At Queens High School for Science at York College, 82% are Asian. And of course, they're single digits in terms of the fraction of the population, so exponentially outperforming their distribution by race within the population. And fine, right? It should be performance-based. But it's just interesting to see sort of the tale of 2 approaches. The public schools want to continue to push the pedal down on the soft bigotry of low expectations, whereas the Catholic schools continue to set standards and a model and replicate the model that's proven successful in educating children for decades and decades and decades in this country. And where do you want to send your kids? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. It also puts an exclamation point on the opportunities that will come from this tax credit scholarship program that was signed into law last year. You're talking about upwards of $500 million in scholarship funds for families to send their children to private, religious, and Catholic schools in Chicagoland and Illinois.
But there's so many of us who are in the middle that, and that's good for everyone, and I hope that they're taking advantage of it.
Right.
Because a lot of the parents that I know that are, lower income, they weren't familiar with the situation.
Well, maybe if you weren't driving around in that fancy 20-year-old Dodge Caravan.
It's a Chevy. It's a Town and Country
limited edition. Town and Country limited edition. That fancy car, you could afford to send Peyton and Eli to Catholic school.
I want you to know I got it detailed this weekend.
Uh-huh.
And it's still dirty.
The detailing is worth more than the car.
Exactly. That's what I said.
Ron on the south side.
$200.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. You know, the very unfortunate thing. Well, you know what? I remember when my son, and I will mention the school, attended Mount Carmel. And look, I don't know if people get offended. And I said within feet away, there was a public school, Hyde Park, and it was ran like a zoo. And I don't mind if people get offended because of the facts. I remember when I took my son to Mount Carmel, and they talked about the discipline, the rules of the school, and some parents got left, which was good. But see, and I'm going to go with this, but the unfortunate thing about it is that he's black. Okay, then I told you years ago when I first mentioned it to Danny Davis, he said some of the parents wouldn't be able to make a choice. But how is it that people who receive the SNAP program, they don't tell you you can go to any grocery store you want to, whether it's public, private, it doesn't matter. They give people a choice. Same thing with housing. That's because you know what? You're not facing an opposition like the public school systems. But I will fight all the rest of my life for vouchers, so we can have some choices. So thanks. Have a good day.
Amen, Ron. Thanks for the call. Bill in LaSalle County.
Hi. Good morning. Just FYI, we sent our youngest son, to Marmion Academy.
Sure.
It's an all-boys high school with the Army JROTC program.
Yeah.
Don't discount the leadership training that comes from that also, because there are some quality schools in the Chicago area like Phoenix Military Academy that also teach the kids about leadership and discipline and that too. Now, obviously, Marmion provides a very quality education, both in math and things like the languages, Latin and so forth. And as a result of it, my son is going to MIT next year.
I'm sorry he couldn't get into Bennett, but that's great that he's going to MIT.
Oh, cadets rule, Dan. Cadets rule, baby.
Thanks, Phil. That's great.
What was supposed to be your public school?
And by the way, Bennett was in the old West Suburban Catholic, Marmion, St. Francis, Bennett.
Oh yeah, I know it well.
Right, and then we upgraded to the East Suburban Catholic.
Oh,
and
snot.
Just went from dominating the West Suburban Catholic
to dominating the world.
Yeah.
What public school were you supposed to go to?
If I would have gone to a public school.
Hey.
No. It would have been Wheaton Central at the time, which is now a Mariano's.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wheaton Central's gone?
Yeah, it's gone.
So you have Wheaton North?
Wheaton North and Wheaton Warrenville South.
Okay.
Yeah. Which are both good schools. I mean,
was your homeroom in the meat department?
Yeah, yeah, it would have been. It would have been. But think about the lunches.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Every time I drive by the French school on Wilson Avenue, I always think, those kids had the best lunches. And they probably have great breakfast, too. The crepes must be nice.
Sure. Yeah.
Parlez-vous français? Today, your forecast is beautiful. Plenty of sunshine, a high of 80 degrees. And on this National Hug Your Cat Day, find one to hug. I was going to say something else, and I decided not to. And you can imagine what it is. Tonight, shower in spots toward dawn. And then tomorrow, a stray morning shower, otherwise not as warm. Cloud sun, a pleasant high of 69 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Have you hugged your cat today, Jim Telemonte?
Don't have a cat, Amy. Sorry. Find one. Good morning. Morning, Dan. Tri-State northbound, we're seeing delays now 95th to 75th. The Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Eastbound Adams Tollway heavy from Tri-State to the Kennedy. Reagan Tollway slow now, 83 to the Tri-State. Edens inbound delays start at Pratt, 22 minutes, Lake Cook to the Junction. Kennedy, 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 40 out of airport traffic. The Eisenhower's 53 minutes, 390 to downtown. The Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, heavy crash at 115th, left lane block. I'm Jim Talamonte, Catholic school parent in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Nice job, Jim, Catholic school parent. Well done. Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews in our Against the Current series. You're going to want to check out this interview this week. The latest edition of Against the Current with Bob Woodson, who is the founder and president of the Woodson Center in D.C., civil rights hero, as well as a William Wilberforce Award recipient. He described our interview that we did, the most complete presentations of our principles, his organization principles that I know, and of course my skill made it possible. Those are Bob Woodson's words.
Enough about you. What do you
Bob
think of
Woodson's words. It's not me. It's Bennett. It's the Bennett education that made that possible. Catholic school for Peyton and Eli. So check out Bob Woodson. It's really a great interview about the civil rights movement and how a cause became a movement and degenerated into a business, as well as some of Bob's work over 60 years serving low-income people looking for opportunity across racial lines. Really good stuff. 60 Seconds of Sanity, 2-minute warnings. Don't forget our Follow the Logic Man on the Street segments, as well as our series Heart of the Matter, featuring professional women speaking collegially about the important issues of the day. And then our sister site, defendhomeowners.com, free property tax report on your home, as well as updated 2017 home sales info in your community. So all the property tax, home sales info, defendhomeowners.com, everything else, upstream-ideas.com.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor, and he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking, and he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. And I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
When you purchase an alarm system, you do it for one reason above all others. You need to know something about the people or property under your care. Knowing that what matters most will be looked after by professionals when you can't be there is a comforting feeling. At Alarm Detection Systems, we've learned a great deal from our decades of service. We know how to treat customers on the phone. We know that installing quality security products using certified technicians is the only way to go. We know that same-day service and local monitoring will provide the safety and peace of mind you're looking for. You no longer have to wonder if your home or business is protected by your alarm system. Know that it is. At home or on the go, the information you seek is right in your hands. It's good to be in the know. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. That's 630-844-6300 or online at adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and so this story out of Denver, a Mile High Spirits Distillery and Tasting Bar. Off-duty FBI agent is getting his groove on.
Getting his drink on and then getting his groove on. He joined a breakdancing circle.
Well, he sort of right. He was center circle, and then he wanted to show off how he could cut a rug, as the kids like to say, in 1920.
And he decided to do a backflip.
I think it's technically a back handspring.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was a back. Yeah, it was a backflip. Sorry.
I mean, I hate to
flip-flop.
pull rank
Sorry, it
in
was a
terms of
flip-flop.
dancing moves, but
Well, you are a former breakdancer.
and runner-up for the Arthur Murray Dancing with the Stars.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
Yeah.
you ain't first, you last, Ricky Bobby. Well, this woman was at the dance.
Mm-hmm.
It was a breakdance circle, like quintessential breakdance circle. There was one man who was doing flips, and then he left, and the FBI agent, I guess, we didn't know that, he came on the scene and he did a backflip. And he was dancing, and then right as he did that backflip, his gun fell out and it hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It shot off.
Yeah, so hit the ground. Then he went to pick it up, and he discharged it, shooting another patron in the leg.
I mean, and then he quickly put it back behind his, in his back of his pants, and then did one of these, like, gotta go.
Did a
and
Comey. Pulled a Comey.
Walked out.
Nothing to see here.
FBI has no comment this morning, but they are
Really?
investigating. Well, Denver police are deciding whether or not to press charges against him. But why would he grab his weapon? He could have just taken a deep breath, picked it up, in the proper spot so he didn't, shoot it. Because the bullet hit some guy's leg, and he had to go to the hospital. He's going to be fine, but still.
I bet a lot
Don't
of
you know
his,
how to properly pick up a weapon, Dan?
I bet a lot of his colleagues have comments at the office. This is one of those stories where you never really live it down. I mean,
never.
He's not going to be fired because he's a federal employee. So let's not be ridiculous here. He'll probably get, a 2-week paid suspension or something. But he's, but this is going to be something where it'll be interesting, like when he goes for confirmation hearings to be FBI director. If this comes up, how the senators will inquire about this incident, say 10 years from now when he's slated to be FBI director, to follow in the lines of the Comeys of the world. The good news is, in the interim, he's provided an opportunity for the Zucker brothers to resuscitate the Naked Gun franchise.
Oh, yes.
I mean, Leslie Nielsen, rest in peace, not with us, so somebody else has to pick up the mantle, and I think this guy, has the material. I like the cut of this guy's jib. What can I say? And we did, by the way, we did get a little bit of audio from him. The FBI is not commenting, but he is commenting. We got a little of the back and forth between him and a supervisor at the FBI about what happened.
Oh, Drebin, I don't want any more trouble like you had last year on the South Side. Understand? That's my policy.
Yes, well, when I see 5 weirdos dressed in togas stabbing a guy in the middle of the park in full view of 100 people, I shoot the bastards. That's my policy.
That's That was a Shakespeare in the Park production of Julius Caesar, you moron. You killed 5 actors. Good ones.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll pick up our discussion of President Trump, and will he or won't he assent to a subpoena from Bob Mueller at 6:36.
And later, a single mom goes into labor during her final exam. How did it go? We'll let you know. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Sunshine and 56 degrees. Our time is 6:30 on AM 560. The Answer. President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, says the president could have shot former FBI Director James Comey to end the Russia investigation, and hinted that the president may not be prosecuted until after he left office.
You never want to say he can't ever, because you open too wide a floodgate. You might want to say he has very broad powers.
In an interview with the Huffington Post, Giuliani claimed Trump's power as president extends so far that he couldn't be indicted on a criminal charge or even be subpoenaed for questioning. Lava flows from the Kilauea volcano are forcing more from their homes on Hawaii's Big Island. Police, firefighters, and National Guard troops are helping hundreds get out just before lava cut off escape routes. Congressman Will Hurd believes there are enough votes in the House to bring several immigration bills up for a vote.
Now is the time to solve this problem and do it once and for all.
On CBS's Face the Nation, Hurd, a Texas Republican, says he does expect a vote on some of those bills this month. Apple is expected to take up phone addiction and software changes at today's Worldwide Developers Conference. Drought in the West feeding fires in New Mexico and Colorado. 400 firefighters are battling a massive blaze in northern New Mexico. It is the Colfax County fire. Illinois should have a new budget in place by midday today. Governor Rauner has scheduled a morning news conference to sign that $38.5 billion spending plan. A former Chicago Public High School employee is dead. 3 others are wounded following a drive-by shooting on Chicago's South Side. Police say Ari Armour and the other victims were gathered outside of a birthday party along the 1200 block of West 73rd Place when 2 in a passing SUV opened fire. Cubs blank the Mets, your final 2-0 at Citi Field, while the White Sox beat the Brewers 6-1. 6:32 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says love isn't all you need.
This is what the left-wing world press loves, pablum.
Love. All we need is love.
In my commentary on the Bible, Volume 1, Exodus, I talk about love as a false god. If we had love, no one would be impoverished. Oh, that's what's been lacking. Oh, I didn't figure it out. Why does love conquer poverty?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee, period.
Men, are you tired of those daily blue enhancement pills that take days, weeks, or months to work, if they ever work at all? Listen up. Now you can take Red, the new natural male empowerment pill that works on demand. Even your partner will notice the difference the very first time you use it. To prove Red won't disappoint like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works, the very first time you try it. We guarantee your partner will also notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take Red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplies are limited. So to ensure your participation in this free nationwide trial, you must call now.
Superior virility on demand. You only need to take Red once to see what all the fuss is about. Call immediately to participate in our free nationwide trial. Call 800-658-0723. 800-658-0723. Be one of thousands to proudly say, I take Red. 800-658-0723.
6:34, the news service of Napa this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Avalanche AC recharge kits are on sale for just $39.99 plus
a $15 prepaid Visa card by mail. Quality parts, helpful people, that's Napa know-how. Check of the roads this morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound I-65 traffic stop and go from US 30, Merrillville to before 61st Avenue. Holbrook, that's due to a crash in that area. Inbound Edens runs 28 minutes, like Cook to Montrose outbound 20 on Kennedy. 41 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 18 from Montrose, 15 in the Express. Outbound 20 minutes to Montrose, 55 to the airport. Eisenhower, 53 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 36. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 36 minutes. Ryan is 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishopport 30, traffic service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. That's 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center, breezy day ahead, pleasant with sunshine and a high near 80. Partly cloudy with a shower in spots toward dawn, a low of 60. Stray morning shower, otherwise not as warm with clouds and sunshine and a high of 69. Currently we have 56 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Gallup is out with their annual poll surveying Americans' views on top moral issues, including same-sex relations, having a child out of marriage, sex outside of marriage, and divorce. The survey finds that views on these issues have shifted dramatically left since the early part of the century. Americans who describe themselves as socially liberal is about as many as those who say they're socially conservative. In the past, those who describe themselves as conservative outnumbered liberals by a significant margin. Now it's evened up. And on the issue matrix, for example, same-sex relations increased in acceptance the most, going from 40% in the first year was asked to 63% in 2017. Having a baby outside of marriage has gone from an acceptance of 45% in its first year of the surveys to 62% in 2017. That's the second biggest change in the survey. 62%. So we talk about the disintegration of the family, the spike in illegitimacy rates across populations, by race, most pronounced in the black community, but Latino community, white community, not far behind. And, the importance of a dad in the home, a dad in the child's life. And yet, because it's happening, more and more people are inclined to just accept the reality around them rather than suggest it's a problem, a societal ill. Extramarital affairs, gambling, birth control, abortion, cloning animals, buying and wearing animal fur, the least amount of change over the years, ranging from 1 to 3 percentage points. Medical testing on animals, a substantial change over the past 16 years. 65% found the practice acceptable in 2001. Now it's only 51%. So that's where you want to make a stand, huh? Okay. This is, again, Gallup's annual values and beliefs poll, which began in 2001, just asking Americans whether a certain practice was morally acceptable or morally wrong. Is there such a thing as morally acceptable or morally wrong anymore, or is it just everybody living their truth? This great, as Ross Douthat writes over the weekend in the New York Times, not culture war, but has the culture war devolved into a pop culture war? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line. We're just economic man and woman. We don't care about these issues, so anything goes. Dothat writes, in response to the controversy last week with Roseanne Barr and Samantha Bee, starts out that the first time he wrote about Samantha Bee was back in 2016 during the presidential campaign, suggesting that Samantha Bee and I'm reading from Dothat here, her fellow late-night liberal shouters were actually doing more for the Republican nominee than was Fallon because Trump's appeal was in part a reaction to the pervasive late Obama-era politicization of pop culture, which was encouraging Republican voting as a form of cultural protest, people being ridiculed culturally, as we've talked about.
Right.
Hurt economically under Obama, ridiculed socially, culturally, and Trump is in part a reaction to that. Dothat goes on to say, though, Trump himself, entirely a creature of the celebrity entertainment complex, he's always played this game, and he has no interest in playing any other. For Trump, fighting with late-night hosts and pro athletes is an end unto itself. People in his administration have substantive goals, but to the president, ratings and faves and cancellations and boycotts are the real way you keep score. It's too easy or too simple to blame Trump when so many of his supporters clearly love his style. Having lost so many cultural battles, the right has developed a desperate attraction to celebrity ephemera, confusing an epiphenomenon of progressives' cultural advantage, the fact that most famous actors and artists are left-wing, with the institutional advantage itself. So conservatives stupidly place hopes in a right-wing Kanye or Trump-friendly Roseanne Barr. They convince themselves that celebrity provocateurs will make America's campuses more conservative. But they don't understand how liberal cultural power works, writes Dothat. It's the steady circulation of ideas and money and people through cultural institutions that really matter, not the famous faces popping off on Oscar telecasts. That's an important point. As he writes, steady circulation of ideas and money and people through cultural institutions, that's what really matters. It's not the one-off cult of personality. It's not the one-off, Kanye tweet, Roseanne episode, Tommy Lahren pronouncement, frankly. It's the hard work of sort of institution building and content production. And I'm not talking about the one-off tweet. And so you understand that conservatives aren't seeing how this works to some extent. Some aren't. Those that kind of rally to the defense of a Barr or obsessed with Samantha Bee being fired. And so they...
Samantha Bee's not fired. But, I mean,
obsessed
Roseanne,
about her being fired. Yeah, like they want her to be fired. Yeah.
She's going to make a formal apology today. On
who
her
cares?
Show tonight. And I never even watched her. I didn't even know who she was.
Well, this is the point, and this is the problem. You're playing a pop culture war by their rules. The fact that you're playing a pop culture war at all is, by definition, their turf, and that's why you're losing. We are losing as conservative, and that's why some of us cannot understand why these institutions that have so much sway continue to be dominated by the hard left in spite of performance. College campuses, entertainment, pro sports, right? They don't get it. I'm boycotting. I'm not paying attention until, you have one exemplar in one of those sectors say something consistent, and then you run to embrace that person, or they attack, somebody on the left, and you run to embrace that person, and you think that's moving the needle. It's not moving the needle. Not really. What's happened, and this is sort of the survey and then this pop culture war that Dothat writes about. David Brooks, actually, New York Times, had a good piece last week about the failure of the educated elite. They failed substantively, but they continue to dominate these elite institutions. The point that he makes, though, is they've created this idea where all you are is a vessel for your skill sets. All you are is, as I said, economic man and woman, which is what we focus on. I don't want to talk about social issues. Let's have, as Mitch Daniels argued, let's have a truce on social issues. Character doesn't matter. And so what are you left with at the end of the day that's unifying and transcendent?
Had an ancillary issue. Bill Clinton was talking about character, former President Bill Clinton, about President Trump, and said he should watch what he tweets.
I don't like all this. I couldn't be elected to anything now because I just don't like embarrassing people. My mother would have whipped me for 5 days in a row when I was a little boy if I spent all my time bad-mouthing people like this.
You don't like embarrassing people. You humiliated your wife to the global community by having relations with a 21-year-old or 20-year-old intern when you were president. You disgraced yourself and the office, your marriage, your family, but you don't like embarrassing people. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. But rather than having a standard by which you hold Trump and Bill Clinton and everybody else to, you just do this. Bill Clinton did it. That's the defense. It's always our side versus their side. It's the pardon the phrase, tit for tat.
What's wrong with tit for tat? Yeah, it's tit for tat.
Well, it's standard free. It's okay that my guy did it because your guy did it 20 years ago. My guy's a scumbag. This guy over here on your side's a scumbag too.
And Bill Clinton said if Trump was a Democrat, he'd be impeached by now.
I think if roles were reversed, now I'm just talking about it based on my experience. If there were a Democratic president and these facts were present, most people I know in Washington believe impeachment hearings would have begun already.
It doesn't even make any sense. The follow-up question, if he was on Face the Nation, if they weren't asleep at the switch on these
CBS
Sunday
morning, which is
or whatever, CBS,
non-confrontational.
There's follow-up. Oh, really? So if President Trump was a Democrat and the House was controlled by Democrats, he'd be impeached? Is that what? What? Is that what he's saying? Does anybody believe that? Of course not. No. If the House was under Democratic control during the Clinton impeachment, do you think he would have been impeached? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And Bill Clinton's a great example of this pop culture war. It's just a different variety than Obama and Trump. So in Brooks's piece, he talks about the failure of the educated elite. People that we talk to and we're talking about, and people in control of the institutions that are so influential, also in your child's lives, in addition to your own. The new meritocratic aristocracy has come to look like every other aristocracy, writes Brooks. The members of the educated class use their intellectual, financial, social advantages to pass down privilege to their children, creating a hereditary elite that is ever more insulated from the rest of society. We need to build a meritocracy that's true to its values, truly open to all. Yeah, I mean, Brooks, he's sort of on the right street, the wrong address, but he does make a couple of points about the meritocracy built on the maximization of individual talent. Only puts an exaggerated faith in intelligence. We've talked about that before. The intelligence bias. Somebody's smart, so they can't be bad. It's very similar to the wealthy guy bias. Somebody's wealthy, so they must be a genius at everything. Wrong. Misplaced faith in autonomy. The old aristocracy, the dim-witted, stuck-up blue bloods, those old white guys and dead white guys that everybody's supposed to loathe, the old Protestant blue bloods, right? And the old establishment has something we meritocrats lack, a civic consciousness. A sense that we live embedded in community and nation, that we owe a debt to community and nation, and that the essence of the admirable life is community before self. In Catholic parlance, that would be being a servant leader. And Brooks is absolutely right about that. And then one other point, he talks about the meritocracy instigating several ruinous beliefs. Another one is misplaced idealization of diversity. It's good to hear this from a center leftist like Brooks, who thinks he's center right. The great achievement of the meritocracy is that it's widened opportunities to those who were formerly oppressed. But diversity is a midpoint, not an endpoint. Midpoint, not an endpoint. Just as a mind has to be opened so that it can close on something, and an organization has to be diverse so that perspectives can serve some end, diversity for its own sake, without a common telos, is infinitely centrifugal and leads to social fragmentation. That's what we have now on college campuses and all these elite institutions that we spend so much money to send our kids through, so much time accessing, being influenced by, interacting with. I mean, it's amazing to me how few people contemplate, discuss the kind of society we live in, the kind of world you want to have been recorded as advancing during your fleeting time here. You don't care at all about the cultural norms around you, just about what's on your paycheck every 2 weeks. That's it? Seems sort of banal and trivial at the end of the day, doesn't it? I mean, I know everybody's got to survive and everybody's got to pay the rent and work hard doing it and raise kids and balance all kinds of interests. I get it. But I go back to what he said. This doesn't have to be just the province of the stuck-up blue bloods of a bygone era. Civic consciousness, a sense that we live embedded in community and nation. We owe a debt to community and nation. But when you say anything goes, as the American populace increasingly is, as so indicated by this Gallup survey. Mike, on the north side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Thanks for taking my call. You started off the segment talking about sex outside of marriage, and the poster child for that is coming to Chicago. Stormy Daniels was going to be at the Admiral Theater the week of your golf outing, and I wanted to know if you were going to be doing any remotes from the Admiral.
No, I'm not. Thanks for the call, Mike. We're not going to be doing that.
They close at 6 a.m., so technically we could do some show prep from 3 to 4 and then come on in here, see what happens.
And you are, consistent with the times, trying to kind of get with it. You are going to reach out to Stormy Daniels to try and bring her to the golf outing.
Yes, she'd be great.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. President Trump orders assistance for coal and nuclear power plants, Europe's visa operations getting back to normal, and no more trending on Facebook. Those stories next.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
It's probably been about 10 years ago. I had quite a few credit cards. The interest on the cards was really high. I was making the minimum payments, but barely. And it was just getting to be too much, so I called Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They met with me, and they were able to get all of my credit cards in one lower payment.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
They did help me learn how to manage my money. Now, we have a house, and we're doing a lot better.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Holly, and I am debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
President Trump directing his Energy Secretary, Governor Rick Perry, to bolster coal-fired and nuclear power plants and keep them open. With plants now struggling, the president ordering steps to support both the coal and nuclear industries and help stop the loss of these resources. Visa officials in Europe still looking into the cause of Friday's so-called service disruption in a number of European countries. Customers unable to use their credit cards in Britain, Ireland, and other countries. Starting this week, Facebook removing the Trending Topics feature, compiling news from across its social network. The change seen as a reaction to charges of fake news. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
For years, you've heard of St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful Lake County region of southeast Wisconsin, serving young men with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Well, now that same experience is available for young women. Yes, beginning this summer and next fall, grades 7 through 12, women are invited, girls, young ladies. They'll be boarding or day boarding, and again, it's going full co-ed. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy is a place you can trust for your son or now daughter. And as a mom, I want to know that if I choose a military boarding school, that it would encompass the values that I look for. We went to check out the campus a few months ago, and it really is a well-run place. It's spectacular. It's not a place for juvenile delinquents, because people always think that when they hear of military academy. No, it's children from all over the country, all over the world attend St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. Limited registration for co-ed summer camp at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy is happening now, as well as year-round school applications, but space is limited. Peyton and Eli are going the third week of July. For all the information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or I urge you to go on to their website and check out all the information about the summer camp and their boarding school. Their website is sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything, and here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app and download today.
Are you ready to take your golf game to the elite level? The Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training Program, or BEAT, is the highest level of training designed to maximize potential and develop highly skilled players. You'll learn from the Bolingbrook Golf Club's world-class instructors. They've designed practice schedules and content to maximize player development. For the athlete that aspires to compete and train at the highest levels, check out BEAT, Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training. More info at bolingbrookgolfclub.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Call 833-VANS-IND for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything, and here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app and download today.
Are you ready to take your golf game to the elite level? The Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training Program, or BEAT, is the highest level of training designed to maximize potential and develop highly skilled players. You'll learn from the Bolingbrook Golf Club's world-class instructors. They've designed practice schedules and content to maximize player development. For the athlete that aspires to compete and train at the highest levels, check out BEAT, Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training. training. More info at BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
The president can get away with murder. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News, at least while he's in office. That's the claim of President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani. He also says the president cannot be forced to testify in the Russia election meddling investigation. Fox's Rachel Sutherland's in Washington.
Chris, Giuliani told ABC this week the president's legal team has turned over more than 1 million documents in the case and will challenge a subpoena if one is issued. But he also said the team hasn't completely ruled out an interview with special counsel Robert Mueller.
He wants to testify. Every lawyer he has, including this one, always wants their client not to testify.
Giuliani downplayed the possibility that President Trump would pardon himself in the probe, saying he believes he can do so, but that he wouldn't need to because he's done nothing wrong. Chris?
Well, Rachel Giuliani says a decision about an interview with Mueller will be made sometime after the president's North Korea summit a week from tomorrow. There's a report of a shakeup in North Korea's military leadership ahead of that meeting. In London, here's Fox's Simon Owen.
Chris, South Korea's Yonhap news agency reporting that the 3 most senior officials in the North Korean military are believed to have been removed from their posts and replaced. No word as to why, although some analysts believe it's an effort by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to tighten control and surround himself with loyalists as he prepares for some big decisions about making peace with the US and South Korea and potentially dealing away his nuclear weapons program. Chris?
Simon, thank you. There's a rescue and recovery operation in Guatemala after a volcano eruption.
It's called the Volcano of Fire, and its eruption has killed at least 25, sending lava flowing into rural communities in El Rodeo. Those lava flows have reached temperatures of about 1,300 degrees. Homes and roads are charred and covered in ash. At least 20 people were hurt, and the number of dead could still go up.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Stock markets overseas are up today. Dow futures are up 123 points ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street. Fox News, fair and balanced.
In Chicago's sunshine and 56 degrees. 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Illinois will have a budget in place by around midday as the governor schedules a news conference to sign in a state $38.5 billion spending plan. The governor's office says leaders and sponsors will join the governor. There's no specificity as to who will stand alongside the governor. Meantime, the Illinois State Police are investigating a fatal wrong-way crash on I-57. It happened late Sunday night. It claimed the lives of 2. According to police, a driver was traveling southbound in the northbound lanes on I-57 just north of I-80 when the collision occurred. An autopsy is scheduled today for a boy pulled from Lake Michigan in Waukegan. Law enforcement was called out Saturday to search for the missing child along Waukegan Municipal Beach. That search lasted about 2 hours before it was called off due to poor conditions. A dive team then resumed the search yesterday before locating the boy's body just after 11 a.m. Police are questioning a person of interest following a deadly shooting over the weekend in South Chicago Heights. Nicole De Leon was found shot to death in her home Saturday. An autopsy found De Leon died of multiple gunshot wounds to the head. Her death ruled a homicide. Prosecutors in Champaign are charging a Wisconsin truck driver with shooting out the windows of cars along I-74. Champaign County State's Attorney Julia Reitz saying that 53-year-old Kevin Casey of Janesville, Wisconsin, used a slingshot to shatter windows in cars as he drove along I-74. Illinois State Police arrested Casey after they say he shot out the window of a minivan that left glass embedded in the face of a 3-year-old. Cubs blanked the Mets 2-0. White Sox winners over the Brewers 6-1. And the news is a service of Accountemps. Payroll, bookkeeping, month-end. Are you feeling short-staffed? Accountemps can provide accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis when you need them to help with increased workloads. Call them today or visit Accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 7:04, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity says the collusion investigation could have been much easier.
Why didn't they ever go to the Trump campaign? And if James Comey was so upset in the spring of 2016, why didn't James Comey go to President Trump and say, look, we're watching this guy. He's associated with your campaign. Boom. Case over. Close up shop, Robert Mueller.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joel Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Abbey Equipment in Streator and get more tractor.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
7:07. Let's get an update on the morning roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound I-65, traffic is jammed. US 30 to before 61st Avenue with a crash to the right lane. Delays on southbound Lakeshore Drive this morning. From Irving Park to North Avenue, there was an earlier crash. Northbound, it's heavy from the Stevenson to Jackson. Edens runs 30 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. Inbound Kennedy, 46 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 20 from Montrose, 18 of the Express. Outbound an hour and 5 minutes to the airport. 25 minutes to get to Montrose. Eisenhower an hour, 390 to downtown, 45 minutes from Manheim, outbound 50 minutes to 390. Stevenson an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 52 minutes. Ryan 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 32 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop Ford 38. Northbound Tri-State heavy, Cicero to the Mylong Bridge. Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway much of the way to the Adams Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today breezy with a full day of sunshine, high 80. Tonight turning out to be partly cloudy with a late night shower in spots, low 60. Straight morning shower tomorrow with clouds and even some sun, high 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
At 7:08 on AM 560, it's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Time to check those temperatures. 56 at O'Hare, 59 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
They did. I went to the Pac-12 tournament, and Stanford has a tree as a mascot. I know they're the Cardinals, but they have a guy in a tree.
The Cardinal, singular.
Cardinal.
Yeah. Name 10 schools whose mascot is singular, not plural.
Cardinal.
Uh-huh. Give me another one.
Hold on. Hoosiers, Boilermakers.
Oh, boy, this is going to take a while.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
Illini.
Yeah, that's one.
Boom, I got two. I'm out.
All right. We'll continue that all morning. I'll fill in the rest of the blanks, but I'll give you some time to think about it.
Okay.
Maybe add some more. University of Michigan, they're the Wolverines, plural. Yeah.
Thank
the Harbaughs. This is interesting from our friend Mark Perry, who's an economics professor at University of Michigan. You know how there's $1.5 trillion in student loan debt, a delinquency rate of about 11%, and people are struggling to get a return on the investment they make in higher education when you're talking about piling up 6 figures in debt to get your BA. University of Michigan employs I should preface this by saying, in terms of the college spend, why in part is college spend, along with healthcare spend, so far outpacing inflation, much less a middle-income family's ability to pay? Administrative positions at colleges and universities grew by 60% between the years 1993 and 2009, 10 times the rate of growth of tenured faculty positions. The eduocracy. The University of Michigan, for example, employs a diversity staff of nearly 100. 93 full-time diversity administrators, officers, directors, vice provosts, deans, consultants, specialists, investigators, managers, executive assistants, administrative assistants, analysts, and coordinators. More than a quarter of those diversicrats, as Mark Perry calls them, earn annual salaries of more than $100,000. The total payroll for this small army at University of Michigan, 93 diversity staffers, $8.5 million. You add the estimated 32% in terms of cost for the fringe benefit package these individuals get, and that compensation total goes to north of $11 million. The vice provost for equity and inclusion and chief diversity officer at Michigan makes, what do you think?
Oh, I don't even want to know. But I have a feeling you're going to tell me.
Michelle Obama range.
350?
$400,000.
What?
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
All the way down to the 26th north of $100,000, who's the EEO / diversity rep senior for the Office of Institutional Equity. Okay, but we're winning. We're winning on the college campuses. We're winning the culture war, or as Ross Doth had said, we've actually lost it, and we're substituting it for the pop culture war to salve our feelings. Well, how about at Stanford Law? We like to go to the elite institutions. Normally, we're on the East Coast, but Stanford has been for a while one of the premier law and business schools. I mean, undergrad too. But law and business schools, most notably, with the lowest acceptance rate and so forth, very prestigious. Martin Salvucci is a law student there, and he wrote a piece for National Review, Political Correctness at Stanford Law, which, maybe I'm becoming a bit inured to these stories that we cover routinely in our Campus Beat segment. When you're talking about students attacking professors like at Middlebury for the crime of walking around campus with Charles Murray, maybe I'm getting a little bit desensitized to just the normal totalitarian re-education that goes on college campuses, the projection of things that the professors and administrators are not, like intellectually curious and inclusive and tolerant of viewpoints that are not their own. Well, Stanford Law, Martin Salvucci reports, no more than 3 of the approximately 110 full-time faculty publicly identify as conservative or libertarian. As a consequence, many of my classmates will graduate having never engaged with a law professor whose worldview and convictions track those of nearly half the voting public. My classmates demonstrate little willingness to identify publicly with anything associated with conservatism or, God forbid, President Trump, no matter how trivial By example, Martin Salvucci cites the law school Republicans on the campus of Stanford will soon cease to exist as a student organization because after a campaign of intimidation and opprobrium, not one underclassman would volunteer to serve on the board of the law school Republicans next academic year. You know, everybody's got to be the team player, just like so many are in their corporate environments these days. Certainly if you're a member of in a leadership or subordinate role at a cultural institution of any import, with the exception of maybe Hillsdale College and a handful of others, you got to be a team player. And so that's the experience that Martin Salvucci writes about in this National Review piece, contrasting it to the experience he had when he was at the University of Chicago. And just to put a real-world, real-time example to what we talk about on college campuses all the time, pleased to have Martin Salvucci, Stanford law student, join us now. Martin, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan. Really appreciate being here.
So you were at the Lumen Christi Institute. I remember I met you there when you were at University of Chicago, and I just wonder if you could contrast what your experience was during your time in Hyde Park as compared to your time in Palo Alto.
Well, the weather's certainly better out here, for starters.
Yes.
But I would be hard-pressed to think of two more different universities. I mean, Stanford is a very user-friendly place. I think, you know, we have so much money that the answer is pretty much always yes, and the obsession is in user experience. It's very Silicon Valley. You know, Chicago, by contrast, I mean, if you ask for heat in the winter, you know, the impertinence of it is sort of horrifying to, you know, the person that you're asking. I mean, you're getting a University of Chicago education, you know, like how dare you want to go to bed without, you know, wearing 10 layers of clothes. I mean, that's just part of the experience. But on an intellectual level, I mean, there's also just no comparison. You know, in Chicago, there are no intellectual taboos. It's a serious place. I think it vindicates the vision that, you know, people like John Masefield had for a university more effectively than probably any other institution in the country, whereas Stanford is just not a serious place. I mean, I think here it's perfectly acceptable and indeed increasingly expected that someone can and will shut down what would otherwise be a sort of mainstream policy debate through some allegation of this is racist or this is sexist or some other sort of ism, and I think we all suffer as a result. I mean, it impoverishes the discourse, and I think the quality of the education that all of us receive as a result is suboptimal.
You mentioned in your article that some parties tore down posters advertising a recent program on abortion. What was that all about?
Yeah. So I'm very involved with the Stanford Federalist Society, and the Federalist Society, for those sort of unfamiliar with it, is an organization of conservative and libertarian-oriented lawyers deeply concerned by the state of the current legal order, and we try to arrange conversations around controversial contemporary topics in legal discourse. And we had a program on abortion back a couple of months ago where we had a woman coming from the East Coast who was criticizing the regime of reliance-oriented jurisprudence after Casey, and then we had somebody from the Stanford campus who was going to respond to her. One of the hallmarks of Federalist Society events is that we always try to have a respondent, usually coming from a different ideological perspective. I think we're the only campus organization that's known to do that regularly, ironically. And what we noticed, I think the morning of or the morning before, it was the morning of, was that the posters that we put up around campus, many of them, I think almost all of them, were torn down and sort of left where they fell, which was concerning to us. And it seemed pretty obvious what had happened. And when we went to the administration and we asked them to sort of help us through this, the suggestion was that perhaps, and, you know, I emphasize, I mean, they didn't say this happened for sure, but the only possibility that was posited was that our facilities staff, in their zeal to enforce the rules on postering, had torn these things down, which just seemed like a sort of risible falsehood to me, at least.
You reference in your piece that Stanford, the professors there encourage are tolerant of diversity of opinion, sort of in the same way Ingsoc was, or there was some other Orwellian reference I'm misremembering. But I mean, give us an example of it. This is arguably the best or in the top 2 or 3 law schools in the country, and it's rather. I still find it rather remarkable that they pay homage to being open-minded and let's have arguments and substantive arguments, and particularly for legal training, you got to be able to argue both sides. And yet what you're describing is something, as you said, where you're only getting one point of view, you're only getting one line of argumentation, and you're expected to hew the orthodoxy.
Yeah. So it's not total. There are at least a handful of professors who do make a good faith effort. I mean, one of the 3 conservatives, former Judge Michael McConnell, is really good about this and forces conservative students to make sort of left-leaning arguments in class with some regularity. I think there are some professors outside the sort of narrowly political fields, Jill Dankman in tax and Lisa Willett in intellectual property, who really take this sort of pedagogical aspect of viewpoint diversity very seriously. But in the main, particularly the public law scholars at Stanford, they don't make a terribly serious effort. And a lot of the things that you hear in the classroom are just sort of horrifying. I mean, the day after Trump was elected, one of my classmates reported back to me that he was told by his civil procedure professor that this is sort of akin to the day after 9/11 when she was a law student here. Another professor, a first-year professor, this year, chain migration is a racist term that shouldn't be used. In my own experience, I'd say, again, referencing a Federalist Society event where we had somebody in from the Heritage Foundation talking about criminal justice reform in a sort of very forward-thinking way. Professors, very prominent empiricist, got up in front of everyone and said, I agree with everything that our friend John Malcolm just said. And then proceeded to go into a slideshow about how anybody who supported Trump was a white supremacist, and Trump and Dylan Roof, the guy who killed all those poor people in Charleston several years ago, were intimately connected on some philosophical level. And there's really sort of no adult minding the store when these sorts of things happen. And that's concerning to me, because while my classmates, to some degree are still children, and children can be expected to behave badly now and forever. There's nothing new under the sun. The people who were supposed to be the adults, I think, at this moment in history, for whatever reason, have totally abdicated their responsibility. And that's deeply concerning, and I don't think it's the sort of thing that institutions like this survive easily. To your point, Dan, I do think it's the case that judges and potential employers understand the problems here. I mean, in the real world, as you know, as a former practicing lawyer, opposing counsel is zealously going to represent all of their best arguments, even if you find them distasteful. Judges have a wide variety of perspectives, especially outside of the Northern District of California. And frequently your clients will have done things that you find to be objectionable, and they still demand the same quantum of effort on your part. So, yeah, it's deeply concerning, and I don't see it getting better.
Well, the team player argument that you make too, that you're sort of getting to that with what you were describing, and this is the culture that pervades all of our cultural institutions, perhaps most aggressively in higher education. And just like, I disagree with what's going on, but hey, look, I'm just here for 3 years to get out, to go to some a blue chip law firm, make a bunch of money, or go on to some outstanding success in some other field. I'm not going to rock the boat. The kind of not rocking the boat in the face of this sort of intolerance you see over and over again, even at Stanford.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say that the feedback that I've gotten to the essay has been in volume overwhelmingly positive, but what's been concerning regarding the positive feedback has been the sheer number of emails or conversations that I've had from or with my liberal classmates who said some version of, Martin, we disagree politically, but I agree with most or all of what you wrote in the essay. I think it's important that somebody says this. It requires a non-trivial degree of courage. And, oh, by the way, please don't tell a soul that I, name X, believe any of this. I mean, and it's happened now double-digit numbers of times in the last week. And if I were a senior administrator, at Stanford, either in the law school or the university, or a trustee or a potential employer, again, I would look at that fact and I would need to take a long look in the mirror about what's going on, because it's obvious that this is a problem that's not just affecting then students like me or the other 5 right-wing students on this campus, but that it's seen as a problem by a great many people who don't necessarily want to subscribe to the lies that for one reason or another are sort of all expected to, as you said before, hew to as orthodoxy.
Well, history's always changed by the committed few, so we got you and 4 other guys at Stanford. We got David Rice Cameron, John David Rice Cameron, who is Susan Rice's son, who's a member of the college Republicans, California College Republicans. So there's a ray of hope. He calls Mark Levin his intellectual political hero.
Oh, that's good.
So there's some seeds being planted out on the West Coast. Martin Salvucci, Stanford law student, the piece on National Review, PC at Stanford. I tweeted it out at Dan Proft. You can check it out, and you should. Martin, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan.
And he joins us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. I guarantee you can have confidence when calling me at 312-896-2110 or going to townstone.com that our only interest is getting you the best refinance deal available and to make sure your home purchase closes on time and without headaches. Don't pay too much. Townstone will compete on closing costs and interest rates with anyone. So do yourself a favor and check with Townstone before you refinance or buy. If you are starting a new home purchase, Townstone is the only place to contact because we not only help borrowers with great credit, large down payments to streamline their home purchase and close quickly, but we're also experts in helping borrowers with the so-called difficult loans. First-time home buyers, we have a program for you. Are you self-employed or a business owner? We have a special program for you too. Had a BK, short sale, or deed in lieu at least 12 months ago? We also have a new program to get you back into your dream house too. So call 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials in Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois. Mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I'm Mark Gastineau. I played in the NFL for 10 years. I was diagnosed with CTE, with dementia, Alzheimer's, and Parkinson's. The fruits and vegetables that we take from Balance of Nature is the best thing that we could ever do. And I'm calling in now to order extra because my wife has been taking mine because she sees a difference in me. It is a wonderful thing that Balance of Nature is doing. I hear the testimonies on the radio, but I'm a testimony for myself. And the fruits and vegetables, if I don't take them every single day, my day is not going to go the same. So God bless you, and thank you for what you've done for my wife and I.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Hey, nothing says summer like the smell of a grill, a delicious handcrafted burger, and a cold beer or cocktail. The Country House has been providing just that for over 40 years. Their 3 great locations in Lisle, Clarendon Hills, and Geneva offers great hospitality in a casual neighborhood setting. Try their award-winning Country Burger, half-pound of fresh chuck, grilled to perfection and served on dark rye. Country House has several other choices for burgers like bison, elk, turkey, and veggie, and their top-drawer burger blends short rib, chuck, and brisket for an unmatched taste. Take your time looking over the daily specials while you enjoy the spacious deck in Geneva or hang out on the patio in Lisle. And don't forget to join the House Rewards program at Country House and earn points while you dine. All new signups will be entered into a drawing for tickets to see the Northsiders versus the Southsiders. Country House. Visit burgerone.com. That's burgerone.com.
Yeah. Traffic. It is what it is.
Stalled cars on the Kennedy Expressway.
Missed concerts, football games, lots of cold dinners, And cold shoulders from Cindy. How much longer do I have to do this? Kids miss me. Cindy misses me. Our marriage is missing me.
From Tabota and Associates.
Then I heard Jack Tabota on the radio again.
Financial strategy designed to help them retire sooner.
What do I have to lose? So I called him. We met, discussed my numbers, then just talked. Talked about life, family, retirement, then something I didn't expect. Jack says retirement wasn't as far off as I thought. And today, the only thing I'm missing is the traffic.
Do you need a financial strategy for retirement? Let's talk. Tabota and Associates, 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Tabota and Associates are not affiliated companies.
Quality doors and windows are one of the smartest investments you can make. They improve your home's appearance and save you money on energy bills year-round. Say goodbye to high-pressure sales tactics and enjoy the best window and door experience with Next Door and Window. Call now and schedule your free quote, 630-590-1370, or go online to nextdoorandwindow.com. Next Door and Window has wood-clad, vinyl, and fiberglass windows and doors. Their staff will help you find exactly what you want. Right now, get 10% off windows and doors with no money down and no payments for 1 year. Call 630-590-1370 or go to nextdoorandwindow.com to schedule your free quote. Choose from 3 showrooms in Chicagoland, Arlington Heights, Burr Ridge, and Naperville. Call 630-590-1370 or go to nextdoorandwindow.com to schedule your free quote and for finance qualifications.
Next Door and Window, thousands of options, one perfect fit.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The good news is federal headcount is going down. The bad news is tariffs are going up. We'll discuss with Grover Norquist at 7:37.
And later, Bill Clinton answering questions about Monica Lewinsky. It just happened on the Today Show, and wait until you hear what he said. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Sunshine in Chicago. 59 degrees, 7:31. At least 25 are dead, hundreds hurt in Guatemala this morning following a violent eruption of the Fuego volcano. NBC's Chapman Bell has details.
The violent eruption caused a pyroclastic flow, which is essentially fast-moving hot gas and volcanic debris that causes a wave of destruction and rivers of lava that cut off towns from rescue workers yesterday as a blanket of ash covered the surrounding areas.
La Aurora International Airport in the capital is being forced to shut down this morning because of volcanic ash in the air. Representative Will Hurd believes there are enough votes in the House to bring several immigration bills up for a vote. On CBS's Face the Nation, the Texas Republican says they're adding votes every single day.
We're adding votes every single day. We're engaged in conversations to figure out, is there another path? I don't believe that there is.
He also says the U.S. does not have operational control over the southern border. Primaries are set in 8 states tomorrow. Voters will cast ballots in California, Alabama, Iowa, Mississippi, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, and South Dakota. Oil prices are down this morning for the second straight session. Record U.S. production and talk of higher output from OPEC are keeping a lid on prices. Police in Arizona believe a string of shootings in Phoenix and Scottsdale are connected. It all started Thursday when noted psychologist Stephen Pitt was shot to death outside of his office. Now, you may know that name. Stephen Pitt has worked on a number of high-profile cases, including the murder of JonBenet Ramsey and the Columbine Massacre, also Arizona's infamous Baseline killer. On Friday, 2 other women who worked as paralegals at law firms were shot and killed. Illinois will have a new budget in place by midday today. The governor is scheduling a 10 a.m. press conference here in Chicago to sign that $38.5 billion spending plan. A federal agent has shot and killed a drug suspect in Chicago. The DEA says the agent fired after the man struck him with his vehicle Saturday during an attempted traffic stop on Chicago's west side. The DEA does say its cooperation with the Chicago police found cocaine in the man's car after conducting surveillance. Cubs blanked the Mets 2-0. White Sox beat the Brewers 6-1. The news, a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 7:34, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I am a Trump supporter.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Now, I am a Trump supporter who will freely criticize the president when I think he's done wrong. And done wrong can be sending out a stupid tweet, raising taxes, or supporting amnesty. Can be anything. It's the issues to me. And when President Trump does something that does not advance those issues, I'll call him out on it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Pursue your passion with a degree from Aurora University Online. Choose fully online programs in business, computer science, and more. To learn more, visit online.aurora.edu.
Looking to refinance your home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Sally's heard hundreds of Team Hochberg's ads, so naturally she called the nation's largest online lender, obsessed with their Rocket, because she saw their ad pumping gas. Bad move. The Rocket-loving lender quoted Sally a rate higher than us, and closing costs $6,000 more than Team Hochberg's. We explained the exorbitant closing costs and refinanced Sally into a lower rate and credited all of her closing costs. Team Hochberg doesn't have a Rocket, but we have lower rates and substantially lower closing costs than the nation's largest online Rocket-loving lender. You could call the nation's largest online lender who spends millions promoting their Rocket by charging excessive closing costs, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358 and MLS 19186.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Northbound Veterans Memorial 355. It's slow going most of the way from I-55 to Roosevelt. Northbound Tri-State delays from Cicero to the Mile-Long Bridge, from Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and in pockets from Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. But Adams Tollway tied up 2 into the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway, so 53 to 355, and Myers to the Tri-State. Eden's 24 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 27. Kennedy, 53 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour and 8 minutes. The Eisenhower's 57 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 50. The Stevenson is an hour and 10 minutes, 355 Lakeshore Drive, 50 minutes outbound. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95 to downtown. Traffic service of Account Temps. When you could use help closing your books and need additional staff, it's time to call Account Temps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis, fast. Call today, Account Temps or Robert Half Company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Breezy, pleasant with sunshine. A high near 80. Partly cloudy, shower in spots as we head toward dawn, a low of 60. 59 at O'Hare, 61 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I've got some good news, and I've got some bad news for you. Obviously, the jobs report on Friday was good news. Also this, the federal government cut 3,000 jobs in May. Federal employment has now dropped by 24,000 since President Trump took office. Now, that's 24,000 out of 2.8 million, just about. So it's an infinitesimal drop, but a drop nonetheless. Baby steps here. So that's the good news. Reducing the headcount reduces ostensibly the size and scope of government, which is part of the challenge. Also consistent with the deregulation that's been a signature of Trump's economic success so far. The bad news is the tariffs that are going up and the potential economic toll that they could impose. Larry Kudlow's continuing optimism notwithstanding. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Good to be with you.
So let's start with the jobs numbers last week and where you think this president's and his administration's economic policy is sort of globally.
Well, the really good news is that when we got the business rates down, tax rates from 35, highest in the world, down to 21%, which puts us ahead of most countries in the world. It's not everything we need, but it was a very good start. I still support President Trump's drive to get to 15. That would make us one of the lowest in the world. Ireland's at 12.5. That changed the ball game. You started to see this year $700 billion, with a B, $700 billion has been committed to come back to the United States. This is American corporate earnings overseas that our own tax policy kept out of the United States. $700 billion flowing in the United States this year. Other countries, when they decide where to invest, somebody in Japan or Brazil or the United Arab Emirates, they used to look at Germany, and Germany had a 25% tax. We have 35%, and they'd invest in Germany. Now, more of them will be investing in the United States. The Fed in Atlanta, the Atlanta Fed, has a projection on GDP growth for the next quarter, the second quarter, which means through the end of June. They're projecting 4.7%. Now, during Obama, we were under 2%. For the last 12 months, the Trump administration, we've been at 3%, and they're not talking about more than 4%. So this is tremendous growth, and it's all driven by the lower regulation burden and the tax cut.
Well, right, you had the tax cut on the personal and corporate income side, but you've got a tax increase because that's what a tariff is with Trump's trade policy. How does that shake out?
Well, it's not helpful. It is small compared to the size of the tax cut and the size of the capital flows into the United States. But all tariffs are simply taxes. They raise the cost of goods for Americans, not for foreigners. And I don't know why they call them a trade war. In shooting wars, you go and shoot somebody in the other country. Right. In trade wars, you shoot people in your own country. The damage done by tariffs is not on foreigners. It raises the price of what Americans buy. And it also hurts our exports because when we import raw material like steel or aluminum, what the challenge is that we make things out of that and then want to export them. But now we're going to have higher prices. We have a very high sugar quota. We raise the price of sugar, about double it, because of our quotas and various government programs. That means candy manufacturing has over time moved out of the United States because the input, the sugar, the raw material, is so much more important, expensive here in the United States. So this is not good for our exports. It's bad policy. I understand the president is using it as a blunt instrument to get other countries to open their markets. And to the extent that that works, as it seemed to have in South Korea, that's helpful. But if it devolves into a Hatfields versus McCoy's long-running trade war, that's Great Depression stuff. It's not helpful.
Well, but also too, isn't this the wrong solution misapplied, to borrow a Groucho Marxism here? Douglas Irwin, economist from Dartmouth, over the weekend in the Wall Street Journal, made the point. Look, we produce 73% of all the steel we consume. So it's not like we're out of the industry or the U.S. has lost its steel industry. The U.S. has lost steel jobs, but that's because in 1980 it took 10 worker hours to produce a ton of steel. Today it takes less than 2 worker hours, just the efficiency through technology. And so the idea of punishing some of our trading partners with respect to steel imports, that really makes even less sense when you look at the context of this data.
Yeah, you do have to look at how much you're producing rather than how many people you're employing. We make a great deal more food in the United States. We grow a lot more corn, wheat, rice than we ever did 100 years ago. But 100 years ago, more than half the population was on the farm. Today, it's less than 2%. that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because people have other jobs that pay more, and farmers are more productive, and farmers get paid more today than they did 100 years ago. So, yes, we need to be looking at what we're producing: steel, aluminum, wheat, pork, all those things. And the good news is we're getting more. Everything except the government is getting more productive in how it does stuff.
But why did President Trump, he's pouring salt in the wound, saying that the steel tariffs are needed as a security measure. Listen to the Prime Minister of Canada.
The idea that the Canadian steel that's in military vehicles in the United States, the Canadian aluminum that makes your fighter jets, is somehow now a threat. The idea that we are somehow a national security threat to the United States is quite frankly insulting and unacceptable.
So the U.S. is isolated. The Canadians are insulted, and then the finance ministers of 6 countries issued this rare rebuke. Do you think President Trump, can anybody get to him and tell him that these are our friends, they're our allies?
Well, if anyone can, it's Larry Kudlow. And there is somebody in the middle of the White House who fully understands the benefits of free trade, and that if threatening people with tariffs is not getting us open markets, we need to do something else. And, of course, the reason why the president has to say it's national security, and the reason he insults France and England and our NATO partners and Canada, is that the law he's invoking to do this unilaterally, as the president, the way Obama used to do stuff all by himself, allows the president to do it, but only if the excuse is national security. So he doesn't mean to be insulting Canada, but in order to stay within the law, he has to claim this is because of national security.
He is Grover Norquist, president of Americans for Tax Reform. Grover, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good to be with you. Tariffs are taxes.
There you go. As simple as that. And blaming Canada is a South Park movie.
We must stop dirty language from getting to our children's ears. We must go fight the source of it. But what is the source? Oh, that's easy. Times have changed. Our kids are getting worse. They won't obey their parents. They just want to fart and curse. Should we blame the government or blame society?
Or should we blame the images on TV?
No! Blame Canada! Blame Canada! For their beady little eyes and flapping heads of lies. Blame Canada! Blame Canada! We need to form a full assault!
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
President Trump just tweeted, too, China already charges a tax of 16% on soybeans. Canada has all sorts of trade barriers on our agriculture products. Not acceptable.
It's pronounced China.
China. Today, breezy, pleasant. Look at that sun shining out there. A high of 80 degrees. We are at 59 degrees right now. Then tomorrow, a stray morning shower. That was the name of Dan's college band. What was the cover band for?
It was a Howard Jones tribute band.
Nice, Howard Jones. We're going to have highs in the upper 60s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is the one and only Jim Talamonte.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Dan. Well, things can only get better on the outbound Kennedy, especially past Montrose.
I see what he did there.
You got that good, Dan. Very good. Howard Jones. On the Kennedy outbound, it's an hour and 8 minutes to get from downtown to O'Hare. 28 minutes to get to Montrose, so the worst of it is past Montrose. Inbound, right now it's just 46 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Hook to the Junction. Outbound 34. Eisenhower, an hour and 6 minutes, 390 to the Circle. 45 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it is an hour and 8 minutes to 390. Got a crash at First Avenue in the right lane. Stevenson, an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to the Drive. The Ryan, 38 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tollways are pretty heavy right now, especially the northbound Veterans Memorial from I-55 most of the way to Roosevelt. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything, and here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. BolingbrookGolfClub.com/contact/download our app and download today.
Have a young golf enthusiast? Keep them busy this summer with the 2018 Rabito Golf Academy Junior Golf Program at Bolingbrook Golf Club. It's a great chance for youngsters to learn golf fundamentals and get warmed up for the golf season by the professional teaching staff at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There are special programs divided into age groups, and sessions are still available but going fast. Get more info at BolingbrookGolfClub.com and click on driving range, then junior golf.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
Men, are you tired of those daily blue enhancement pills that take days, weeks, or months to work, if they ever work at all? Listen up. Now you can take Red, the new natural male empowerment pill that works on demand. Even your partner will notice the difference the very first time you use it. To prove Red won't disappoint like the others, you're invited to participate in our nationwide I Take Red Partner Reaction Guarantee Trial. We're seeking participants for this nationwide trial, not only to prove it works the very first time you try it. We guarantee your partner will also notice the difference. Forget those slow-acting blue pills and join those who proudly take Red. Over 50,000 pills have already been claimed and supplies are limited. So to ensure your participation in this free nationwide trial, you must call now.
Superior virility on demand. You only need to take Red once to see what all the fuss is about. Call immediately to participate in our free nationwide trial. Call 800-658-0723. 800-658-0723. Be one of thousands to proudly say, I take Red. 800-658-0723.
Dan Proft here, and I'm joined by Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert, homeloanexpert.com. And everybody knows the housing market is en fuego. That means hot. But how do you take advantage of it? That's why we have an expert here. His name's Ryan Kelly, as I just mentioned, and he's going to tell us. Ryan?
Well, I appreciate it. Let me jump on, Dan, and you're exactly right. The housing market is hot, and homes are selling fast. You know, if you're thinking about selling your house, that's great. Just put a for sale sign in the yard, make up a price, and it should go fairly quick. If you're thinking about buying a home, it's never been more important to make sure you're working with a strong mortgage lender. Believe me when I tell you, you are not the only person watching those same streets, those same neighborhoods, the same school districts, waiting for the house to come on the market. There's a lot of people out there waiting for that same house. So make sure you're prepared. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. That's thehomeloanexpert.com. Thanks, Dan. The Home Loan Expert, LLC, Tennessee Residential Mortgage Licensee.
Have you written a book and want to get it published? Christian Faith Publishing helps thousands of authors publish their books with a company dedicated to strong Christian values.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
It all starts with our free author submission kit. Call 800-566-1012. We'll edit, design, copyright protect, print, and distribute books online and in bookstores everywhere. You'll see your books in Christian bookstores, Amazon, iTunes, Barnes & Noble, and many others. If you have a biography, novel, devotional, self-help, or other inspirational work, we get it published. We provide professional book editing, award-winning design, with the highest royalty structure in the industry. Plus, you retain 100% rights to your work. Get your book published today. Call for your free author submission kit at 800-566-1012. That's 800-566-1012. 800-566-1012.
People have long associated the Ozinga name with concrete, but truth be told, Ozinga has always been on a quest to create a better world. We want to help you build your business so you can provide for your family, create better jobs, and build your community. It's why we constantly engineer better concrete, haul raw materials, and supply cleaner fuel. Together, we can positively impact the places where we live, work, and play throughout the Chicagoland area. To learn more, go to ozinga.com. That's OZINGA.com.
So, you're a truck driver, a clutch cowboy, a wrangler of the road. At Ozinga, you are exactly who we need. Concrete truck drivers. People who aren't afraid of a little adventure and hard work. If you're tired of monotony and are looking to build something that matters, then come build with us. At Ozinga, we are building our families, our communities, and our country. Apply online today at ozinga.com. That's OZINGA.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Things are getting hot. Nice. On the Today Show, Craig Melvin was interviewing President Clinton and James Patterson about their upcoming novel that they're working on.
The president is missing. A president gets impeached. I mean, it's James Patterson. Come on, the guy did Kiss the Girls. He's defiling himself by writing a book with Bill Clinton.
Well, Craig Melvin asked him, did you apologize to Monica Lewinsky?
No, I felt terrible then, and I came to grips with it.
Did you ever apologize to her?
No, yes, and nobody believes that I got out of that for free. I left the White House $16 million in debt.
Oh, yeah, couldn't afford the mortgages.
Now he's the victim.
But you typically have ignored gaping facts in describing this, and I bet you don't even know them. This was litigated 20 years ago. 2/3 of the American people sided with me.
Yeah.
They were not insensitive to that. I had a sexual harassment policy when I was governor in the 80s.
That I could sexually harass whoever I wanted.
I had 2 women chiefs of staff.
And then he went on and on about how he's hired all these women. But, okay, did you or did you not apologize to her face-to-face, Bill Clinton?
But you didn't apologize to her.
I have not talked to her.
Do you feel like you owe her an apology?
No, I do. I do not. I've never talked to her. But I did say publicly on more than one occasion that I was sorry.
Sorry, guys.
That's very different. The
Right.
apology was public.
Yeah, that is very different.
And you don't think a private apology is owed?
I think this thing it's 20 years ago. Come on. Let's talk about JFK. Let's talk about, LBJ. Stop already.
I don't think you think President Kennedy should have resigned?
Yeah, but he didn't lie under oath.
Do you believe President Johnson should have resigned? Someone should ask you these questions
Just
because
on
of the way you
principle.
formulate the questions. I dealt with it 20 years ago plus, and the American people, 2/3 of them stayed with me.
Oh, my gosh.
And I've tried to do a good job since then with my life and with my work.
Yeah, the great.
That's all I have to
this,
say.
Novel with Patterson and the Clinton Global Initiative. It's great. What great legacies. Yeah, that's quite a mouthful.
And they brought it up because it's the whole Me Too movement.
Oh, yeah. No, I understand that. In addition, 20 years ago. Well, hey, Mr. President, 20 years later, Monica Lewinsky still can't find a fella because of you.
Right. Do you think she's owed a face-to-face personal apology or a letter? Or
Well, when he says,
maybe he could tweet her an apology.
I've apologized to the world. He's apologizing for disgracing the office, for disgracing his family, for lying under oath. Kind of a general apology.
It's just
but
what
he also,
your meaning of sex is.
Yeah, well,
Right,
right.
that
He knows an apology for bastardizing the English language, number one. Number two, I mean, the question I would put to him is, what would you say if, not to do a Bernie Shaw to Michael Dukakis thing here, but if Chelsea Clinton had been interning at a Fortune 100 company when she was a 20-year-old college student and a 50-something CEO
Married with children.
had engaged in illicit acts with her, what would you say about that guy and what he did and whether he owed your daughter an apology for essentially his predatory behavior? What would you say? That would be a more interesting question, but I'm not on the Today Show.
No, you should be.
Thank you.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Does Michael Goodwin, a New York Post columnist, believe, as Rudy Giuliani does, that Trump could chop up Jim Comey's body and distribute the parts in the Hudson Bay and still not be impeached or have done anything wrong?
And later, forget hot coals. There's now a new tool thugs are using along the lakefront. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Hundreds honor a fallen Chicago fire department diver. A boy's body pulled from Lake Michigan in Waukegan. Cubs blank the Mets while the White Sox beat the Brewers. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
President Trump says he has the absolute right to pardon himself. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The president also tweeting this morning, "Why would I do that when I've done nothing wrong?" His legal team, though, is arguing he could if it came to it. At the White House, Fox's John Decker.
After 6 months of talks, the president's personal lawyer says special counsel Robert Mueller may be prepared to subpoena the president. On ABC's This Week, Rudy Giuliani laid out his terms for the president sitting down for a sworn deposition.
And I have to just be honest, I mean, we're leaning toward not. But look, if they can convince us that it will be brief, it'll be to the point.
Giuliani says a subpoena would be contested in court, arguing the special counsel lacks the legal authority to compel the president's testimony. President Trump has denied colluding with Russia during the presidential election or obstructing justice. Chris?
John, at least 25 people are killed in a volcano eruption in Guatemala. In Hawaii,
the Kilauea volcano has been spitting lava, ash, and rocks for nearly a month, and some of the lava flow has cut off access to parts of Hawaii's Big Island. Thousands have already evacuated their homes, and officials say hundreds more should be ready to leave with little notice.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. Facebook defends sharing user information with phone manufacturers. Here's Fox's Eben Brown in Miami.
Yeah, Chris, long ago, Facebook made deals with Apple, Amazon, Samsung, even BlackBerry to allow these companies access to your Facebook data. The revelation comes in a New York Times report. Facebook says the point of those agreements was so that users could access Facebook activities outside of Facebook's app or website, such as the ability to like something or to post a photo from your device directly to Facebook. Facebook denies any wrongdoing and says these types of information sharing is unlike what happened with third-party app developers revealed in the Cambridge Analytica issue. Chris.
Dow futures up 132 points ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street, and this is Fox News, fair and balanced.
Sunshine and 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Detectives are questioning 3 people following the death of an 11-year-old boy on Chicago's far south side. Police say the child was found unresponsive early this morning on the floor of an apartment in the 900 block of West 119th. The boy had suffered trauma to the head. Illinois will have a new budget in place by midday. Governor Rauner has scheduled a 10 a.m. news conference in Chicago to sign the state's new $38.5 billion spending plan. Illinois State Police are investigating a fatal wrong-way crash on I-57. It happened late last night and claimed the lives of 2. An autopsy is scheduled for later today for the boy pulled from Lake Michigan in Waukegan. Law enforcement was called out Saturday night to search for the missing child along Waukegan Municipal Beach. The search lasting 2 hours before it was called off because of poor conditions. A dive team resumed the search yesterday before locating the boy's body around 11 a.m. John Lester and 3 relievers combine on a 3-hit shutout. Cubs blanked the Mets 2-0 at Citi Field. White Sox beat the Brewers 6-1 in Chicago. Dylan Covey struck out 7 over 5 innings of work. 8:03 is our time, and it's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Jenny Casola.
From the
Fox Business Network. Apple is expected to emphasize quality at its worldwide developer conference today, where it reveals the future of the iPhone, Macs, and every other product it makes. Apple's expected to deliver a message of confidence that the company can deliver quality software. Among the most high-profile flaws Apple has addressed recently is the one that caused iPhone users typing an I to get a different character instead. Visa was dealing with a payment system problem in Europe over the weekend. It says the business is close to normal levels now. It has no reason to believe it was associated with unauthorized access or a malicious event. But concert ticket service Ticketfly was dealing with a disruption caused by a data breach over the weekend. Parent company Eventbrite says information could have been stolen from more than 26 million user accounts. The Dow was up 219 on Friday. NASDAQ gained 112. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder can't make sense of the Russia investigation.
James Clapper goes on The View and says the reason the FBI planted a spy in the Trump campaign was to protect his campaign. What? Don't you pick up the phone and call Trump and say, hey, guess what? Some Russians are trying to infiltrate your campaign. Don't you do that? Blows my mind.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
Buying a new tractor? You owe it to yourself to visit your LS Tractor dealer. LS Tractors give you a lot more tractor for less money compared to other brands. For starters, LS Tractor comes with more select features as standard equipment. They make operating your tractor easier with better performance to get more work done quicker. Compare and you'll know who gives you more tractor for your money. LS Tractor. Excel in your field. Learn more at lstractorusa.com.
Visit Abbey Equipment in Streeter and get more tractor.
When posting on most job sites, you get candidates.
I'm the sales director.
I'm the sales director you're looking for. But when you post on Indeed.com, you get the candidates just right for you.
I'm a sales director with an MBA, over 10 years experience, who's also fluent in Japanese.
With Indeed, you can add screener questions for a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates.
Arigato.
Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
It is 8:06. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Southbound Tri-State has heavy traffic. Washington to 176. Northbound, it's very heavy. Southwest Highway to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway most of the way to the Adams Tollway. It's about Adams Tollway. It's stop and go 2 to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway from 53 to 355 and Myers to Roosevelt with a stall in the left lane. Northbound Veterans Memorial jammed. I-55 most of the way to Roosevelt. Edens is 19 minutes. Lake Cook Junction. Outbound 34. Kennedy 45 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 54 minutes. Eisenhower an hour and 6 minutes. 390 to downtown. Outbound an hour and 8 minutes. Crash at First Avenue. Stevenson an hour and 8 minutes. 355 to the drive. Ryan 40 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic is the service of Accountemps. Payroll, bookkeeping, month end. Are you feeling short-staffed? Accountemps can provide accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis when you need them to help increased workloads. Call them today or visit Accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Full day of sunshine today, wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour. High today 80. Partly cloudy with a shower at a few spots toward dawn, low of 60. Then a stray morning shower, otherwise some sun, high 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 59 at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And Rudy Giuliani says that Trump could put Jim Comey in a wood chipper, I should say, or wood chopper.
Okay, Fargo.
And still not be prosecuted. It's part of the presidential power. He also suggests that Trump can pardon himself. Why would he need to? He didn't answer that, but this is what he said on Sunday with Clinton Foundation donor Zero.
Do you and the president's attorneys believe the president has the power to pardon himself?
He's not, but he probably does. I mean, he has no intention of pardoning himself, but he probably does. It doesn't say he can't. I mean, that's another really interesting constitutional argument. Can the president pardon himself?
You think it's an open question?
I used to run the pardon attorney. It would be an open question. I think it would probably get answered by, gosh, that's what the Constitution says, and if you want to change it. But, yeah.
And then President Trump tweeted less than a half hour ago, as has been stated by numerous legal scholars, I have the absolute right to pardon, all in capital letters, pardon myself, but why would I do that when I've done nothing wrong?
Yeah,
in the meantime,
exactly.
the never-ending witch hunt led by 13 very angry and conflicted Democrats and others continues into the midterms, exclamation point.
Well, I don't understand why Rudy Giuliani didn't make that point. I mean, arguably he could. You'd have to see which way the Supreme Court would fall on that, more than likely. But why would he need to? Because there's nothing that he's done that would necessitate a pardon. I don't know why he didn't make that case. Now, the more relevant topic, at least with what we know publicly, is the question of the subpoena. And if the president was subpoenaed by Mueller, would they comply or would they fight it?
In addition to the constitutional issue, which will be, a complex one, we admit that, although we think we have the better argument. The one that's definitive is the OLC, Office of Legal Counsel in the Justice Department, wrote a memo at the conclusion of the Clinton thing, the Clinton administration, and said, you cannot indict a sitting president, nor can you compel process. So it's part of the rules of the Justice Department. And Mueller is
Has
nothing.
he responded to the letter?
Has not.
No response to the letter.
And Mueller is completely surrounded by the rules of the Justice Department and agreed to follow them.
So Giuliani is saying he can't do that, and if he tries to do it, essentially, we're going to fight it. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by Michael Goodwin, New York Post columnist and Fox News contributor. His most recent piece in the Post is James Comey isn't above the law. Michael, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, guys. Thank you.
I'll let you make your case about Jim Comey not being above the law, although I certainly agree. But what about Rudy's metaphor? He could shoot Jim Comey and he wouldn't be prosecuted. Even if I know he's trying to be colorful and illustrate the legal argument, but doesn't it just come across as saying that indicating the president is above the law? Isn't that troubling at all, some of the rhetoric coming from Trump's legal team?
Well, look, I think there are two ways to look at it. One is kind of in a room of legal scholars debating the fine points of the Constitution and the Justice Department regulations, and the other is on Sunday morning television. And I think what Rudy said there, as you correctly note, it doesn't translate to people watching that. I mean, they don't get the finer points. This is a kind of exploratory mindset that Rudy has taken in a number of these interviews, and I think he's thrown a lot of things in the air that are extremely provocative in ways that only muddy the waters as to what the real legal issues are, and frankly, whether Trump bears any guilt, whether he's done anything that would lead to an indictment, would lead to a subpoena. So I think Rudy would be advised to. He doesn't have to answer every question in a kind of totally hypothetical, ultimate, extreme way. He can simply, I think, lay out the contours of the Constitution and the Justice Department regulation. I mean, he's a good lawyer. He was a very good lawyer. I think he's showing a lot of rust in some of these interviews.
Do you think, even before he hit the Sunday talk shows and gave that, bizarre hypothetical to the Huffington Post, on Saturday, he's cranking up the tension with Robert Mueller, saying that he's going to fight the subpoena. Is that, what are your thoughts on all of it? I mean, should President Trump even sit down? Because I think it's a perjury trap.
Right. Look, I think that's the ultimate conclusion they've reached is that that an interview with the president would not serve the president, and I thought so. I think that's what the subpoena. Again, the legal argument. To our knowledge, there has been no subpoena. So this is, again, a theoretical conversation. It's an important one, but I think it's getting lost as to where we really are in this process. I thought the revelation over the weekend of the letter that Trump's team wrote to Mueller in January, now some time ago, but I thought the points it raised were interesting, that essentially what evidence do you have to show us that you need an interview with the president? In other words, it should be the last resort. It should be when you cannot get the information otherwise. And we have given you over 1 million documents. And you've interviewed lots and lots of people, including the White House. How can it be that you don't have everything you need? And if not, what is it that you need? And so I think it's a way of trying to get to what does Mueller have? What is he looking at exactly? And then so Mueller apparently responds with those list of questions that were leaked, some 50 questions that, in a way, were not very detailed. Many of them struck me as just fishing, as though he had nothing. But so I think that's the reason that the president's team sees. You go in there, you sit down. They don't really have anything, but they just keep throwing things at you, and at some point you're going to contradict yourself. You're going to contradict what they know or what you've said elsewhere. Perjury. So I think that is their thinking, that unless Mueller can really narrow down what he wants to ask the president, and again, this is not just about Trump. I think we have to remember, too, that's what Giuliani and even the president in the tweet you referenced. He's talking about executive privilege. He's talking about the power of the Oval Office that transcends him or any individual successor. And I think that's where the best arguments lie. And I think Rudy, unfortunately, is clouding the water with all of this extreme hypothetical.
Well, and a good example of the president potentially tripping himself up is included in that 20-page memo that was leaked that you're describing. With respect to his involvement in writing the statement in response to the revelation about the Trump Tower meeting with the Russian lawyer Veselnitskaya, and in him allegedly dictating a statement to Don Jr. in response to the public inquiry, which is not consistent with what he said subsequently. But the other thing that's interesting about the memo is, they go right to the suggestion that the firing of Comey, this is one of the big touchstones. That's a possible indicator of obstruction. And they essentially lay out the case. Look, even if you don't believe that the president can't be charged or pursued for obstruction of justice with terminating somebody for whatever reason that's under his authority, look at what Jim Comey said. Jim Comey essentially said after the Let It Go meeting over General Flynn that the relationship was fine. He never pursued the Let It Go. He never thought he was being interfered with. He subsequently said in correspondence that the relationship is fine. I think I'm going to be here for another 6.5 years and all this stuff. So, kind of what evidence is there that where you're trying to go is going to has any basis, has the possibility to bear any fruit?
Look, I mean, I think that's well said. That there is that's the effort to get Mueller to focus more directly on what it is he's looking at, because many have made this point, as you just did, Alan Dershowitz included, that the president can fire anybody. I mean, that's the executive power. Anybody who works for him. To say otherwise, even to protect a general counsel, a special counsel, would be to curb the executive power, and that's not constitutional. So I think there are a lot of arguments on that. But look, I think we also, even here, need to recall some of the background of Mueller's investigation itself. That Trump feels the whole thing is part of a campaign to delegitimize his election. And So I think the president and his team are not just trying to protect him, his own career, but also this notion that everything about Mueller, that the Russian dossier, the FISA warrants, all of the cloud about how that was obtained, that Clinton paid for it, that Sidney Blumenthal was involved in some of this, that what was Clapper doing, what was Brennan doing, what was Comey doing during the election. All of that, I think, for Trump is still a huge hurdle because someone said to me the other day, why didn't you just come out and say what Russia did was horrible? Well, because I think that is exactly what Hillary Clinton wants to argue continually. And many Democrats on the left still argue that Trump was illegitimately elected. And there's absolutely no evidence of that. But from Trump's point of view, Mueller's entire investigation is based on that false claim. And so I think that's why the president sometimes gets tripped up it looks like he's shadow boxing, because he is. There is a shadow that has been created over his election, over his administration, that Mueller will not let go. As long as Mueller is doing his investigation, that shadow remains. And I think that is the larger context here.
Yeah, and to your point, I mean, it was just last week, Jim Clapper on his own book tour suggests that the Russians threw the election to Trump without any evidence. Even nobody from the Obama administration, other than him, has even gone so far as to say that. It's just
That's
so
right.
reckless.
And he has said exactly the opposite in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. He is Michael Goodwin. His most recent piece, the New York Post, James Comey isn't above the law. You want to check that out. New York Post columnist, Fox News contributor. Michael, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We want to give a big happy birthday shout out to one of our faithful, loyal listeners. Her name is Mary Lou Qualiata. The G is silent. Mary Lou Qualiata.
Huh.
Qualiata.
Okay.
Let's go with Qualiata.
How old is she?
I don't know.
You don't ask a woman her age. That's
Yeah,
the appropriate
Dan.
answer.
But happy birthday to her, and thanks for listening every morning. I think she listens from 7 to 9 a.m. So thanks, Mary Lou. Today, National Hug Your Cat Day. If you don't have a pussycat, find one in the alley and give it a hug. I'm sure it'll be very open to that idea. Cats love to be hugged. Thank you. A high today of 80 degrees with mostly sunny skies. And then tonight, showers and spots toward dawn. Ooh. And a stray morning shower. Otherwise, not as warm tomorrow. A high of 69. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Inbound Bishop Ford. Got a big jam. 115th to King Drive with a crash on the right lane. Looking at 47 minutes. 8094 to the Verge. I-57 much better at 22 minutes from I-80 to the Rhine. And the Rhine from 95th to downtown is 40 minutes. Eden's 19 minutes. Lake Cook to the Junction up on 36. Kennedy, 57 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. 42 from Montrose. 38 the Express. Up on 45 to the airport. But Eisenhower an hour. 390 to downtown. 40 minutes from Mannheim. Up on 55 to 390. Stevenson an hour and 6 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Up on 42 minutes. Tri-State southbound slow Washington to 176. And from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound Southwest Highway to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway most of the way to the Adams Tollway. Northbound Veterans Memorial jammed. I-55 most of the way to Roosevelt, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I've told you how the MyPillow mattress topper's 3 unique layers of comfort evenly supports your body weight, helps to relieve pressure points, and keeps your body temperature regulated all night. Not too cold or hot. So don't wait to get yours, because in June you'll save 30% plus when you buy a mattress topper at a discount. You'll also get 2 free standard MyPillows. That's an unbelievable offer. 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off that mattress topper. Or get 1 low price on 2 MyPillows and receive free shipping. But you have to use the promo code Amy. There's a 10-year warranty on pillows and mattress toppers and a 60-day full money-back guarantee. So go online or call now for these great deals and others, including 30% off pet beds, sheets, and more. Call 800-489-0201, promo code Amy, or visit mypillow.com. That's 800-489-0201, promo code Amy.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. And it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. I recommend it to everybody.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
When you're insured by Mag Mutual, you get more than just medical professional liability protection. You get partnership. They're your partner when it comes to safeguarding patients, physicians, and healthcare teams. Everything they do is focused on protecting and supporting you in the practice of medicine. From helping you save money to mitigating your risk, they are your single source for customized service and support. Their promise to protect includes comprehensive insurance solutions for the practice, business, and regulation of medicine, from expert guidance to an extensive resource library and complimentary access to up-to-date. They're committed to creating a plan specifically for you, ensuring your continued success. You can stay focused on your patients, knowing Mag Mutual is your partner. Visit them on the web at magmutual.com.
For more information about Mag Mutual in Illinois, please contact Dr. Shaw at Flagship Healthcare at 312-888-9248 or by email at info@flagshiphc.com. Visit their website at flagshiphc.com.
Earnings vary based on your effort.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, call 1-800-300-2330. Seating is extremely limited. Call in the next 10 minutes and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals Guide. That's 1-800-300-2330. That's 1-800-300-2330.
You know the expression out of sight, out of mind? Well, that pretty much describes the roof on your house. Sure, you can see it from the ground and things may look okay, but you probably don't really know what's going on up there. After the long winter, this is a great time to have your roof professionally inspected by New Life Property Restoration. They'll let you know the condition of your roof and how long you can expect it to last. Here's the best part. This is a complimentary evaluation valued at $250. And for every inspection estimate New Life Property Restoration performs this year, a donation will be made to the Roof for a Vet project to help vets with homes in need of roof repair. With so many choices in the roofing industry, who can you trust? Consider a family and veteran-owned company that's willing to invest in you before they ask you to invest in them with a free inspection of your roof. Consider New Life Property Restoration and their 20-point inspection. Find them at newlifepropertyrestorations.com or 224-220-1444.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Time to play America's favorite game. Would you rather date a Trump supporter or a MS-13 gangbanger?
Oh, I just called her an MSG.
Yeah, hold the MSG. MS-13 gangbanger or Trump supporter. Daily Caller sent a couple of their intrepid reporters to do some man-on-the-street Q&A on the topic. Here's what they found from a cross-section of the American public.
Which one would you date? An MS-13 gang member or a Trump supporter?
Oh, come on.
Gang member. Give me the gang member!
So I'm going to go MS-13.
Yeah, probably MS-13 member.
MS-13.
MS-13. All the way.
Neither. I'll stay single. It's embarrassing that I don't know what an MS-13 gang member is. Can someone tell me what that is? I'm not going to date either of them, I don't think.
I guess a Trump supporter, because I guess at least they stand for something.
MS-13. Why? Why an MS-13?
Because I lived in Bolivia, so I understand a little bit of the culture.
Not
The
for
rape-
the
the
Trump
rape and
supporters.
murder culture?
No, I mean, your choice is your choice, but not for me.
What if it was Kylie?
Ooh, what side are you on? Still not a Trump supporter, but probably MS-13 gang member. Yeah, a lot of Trump supporters were probably raised by rich white dads and people with lots and lots of money, and they're bred into being Trump supporters. I'm from Connecticut, and I can tell you 80% of the girls in high school would say that they were Republican when they were in high school because their dads were rich white dads, and they had no idea what Republican even meant.
Yeah, hey, dumbass from Connecticut. Read Hillbill Elegy about all those those rich white families that put Trump over the top. You dingbat. Now I'm going to throw a wrinkle in this, Amy.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Hold the MSG.
Right. I'm going to do that. MS-13, Trump supporter,
Or
John Hamm in the John Hamm. John, do you know who John Hamm is?
Yeah, sure.
You don't know who John Hamm is?
No, yes, I do.
John Hamm on a show 25 years ago, before he became Don Draper, called
John
I
Hamm.
think The Big Date was the name of it. The Big Date. John
I know
Hamm.
who John Hamm is. Born in St. Louis, Missouri.
Do we have that John Hamm drop?
Oh, it'd be a shame if we didn't.
How about you, John? You're on a first date, Mary's the girl you want to really impress her. How do you make her feel special?
Well, start off with some fabulous food, a little fabulous conversation.
What else fabulous, John?
End it with a fabulous foot massage for an evening of total fabulosity.
Ah, very good, John. All right, Mary, here are our choices.
How about that, ladies?
Mark's going to take you out to dinner, and then he's going to take you home and show you why he's a stuntman and show you his flexibility. You offered some wrestling. That's all up to you guys. I don't have anything to do with that part. Marcus wants to take you out to a nice little dinner, but actually what I want to do is a little Vegas, a little mountain climbing, a little bike riding, and all the time holding you and cuddling you. I don't think it's physically possible, but if he could do it, it might be a cool date. And John is just all about anything fabulous for you, Mary. So time to make a choice. Which one of these guys do you want to get to know?
I'll take the MS-13
You know,
gangbanger
I've
from those
realized
three.
John Hamm would play Aaron Rodgers if there was ever a movie made about Aaron Rodgers.
Would he? So 25 years ago, John Hamm was a bit of a D-bag, in case you didn't pick up on Mr. Fabulous there. And something else that we often
Yes?
talk about.
What?
Listening to John Hamm have to speak in his own voice tells you how good the writers for Mad Men were.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Have you seen that comedy special with Martin Short and Steve Martin on Netflix?
No.
Oh, it's great. So he does a Jiminy Glick, the Jiminy Glick character Martin Short does, and he does like fashion descriptions of like world leaders and political figures. And Jiminy Glick says that Kim Jong-un looks like the bouncer at a lesbian bar. So we'll talk about that bouncer at a lesbian bar with Bill Gertz at 8:30.
Yeah, he's being courted by everyone, Assad, Putin, and now that meeting, new details about the Trump-Kim summit. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Rudy Giuliani says President Trump could have shot former FBI Director James Comey to end the Russian investigation and not be prosecuted till after he left office. Sunshine and 59 degrees at 8:32. In an interview with Huffington Post, Giuliani claimed Trump's power as president extends so far that he can't be indicted on a criminal charge. Lava flows from the Kilauea volcano are forcing more people from their homes on Hawaii's Big Island. Congressman Will Hurd this morning says there are enough votes in the House to bring up several immigration bills. On CBS's Face the Nation on Sunday, the Texas Republican says he expects a vote on some of those bills in the coming weeks.
Now is the time to solve this problem and do it once and for all.
Apple is expected to take up phone addiction and software changes at today's annual Worldwide Developers Conference. Drought in the West feeding fires in New Mexico and Colorado. Detectives are questioning three following the death of an 11-year-old boy on Chicago's far south side. The state of Illinois will have a new budget in place by midday. The governor is scheduling a 10 a.m. news conference to sign the state's $38.5 billion spending plan. Illinois State Police are investigating a fatal wrong-way crash on I-57 Sunday night that claimed the lives of 2. Chicago sports, John Lester and 3 relievers combine on a 3-hit shutout. Cubs blank the Mets at Citi Field 2-0. Daniel Pauka, Adam Engel with back-to-back home runs. White Sox beat the Brewers 6-1. The news, a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher believes there's lots of layers to the canceling of Roseanne.
I'm angry at her for the stupidity of this tweet. I'm angry but not surprised at the pathetic attempt to link a Roseanne tweet to President Trump. It shouldn't be unexpected. They jumped on that bandwagon over at CNN in a heartbeat.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Dan Proft here with Ryan Kelly, the home loan expert. And while interest rates have ticked up a bit, they're still at relatively historic lows. So maybe a good time to refinance, particularly you build up equity in the house and you want to see what you can do to fully leverage that. So, Ryan, thinking about refinancing as a possibility or something to explore, how should people consider that?
Great question, Damon. Thanks for letting me join you. Home values have been skyrocketing. It's everywhere. It's in the news feeds. It's out there. And you now have a ton of equity you didn't have just a year ago. And as you said, mortgage interest rates are still low. So what does that mean? It means you have options. One of the biggest calls that we get here at the Home Loan Expert office is, I've got some credit cards. They piled up through the holidays or maybe with the kids in school and all that. And people are looking to do a cash-out refinance and pay off those credit cards. Cash-out refinance with the Home Loan Expert office is just as easy as a normal refinance, but we don't stop there. We get you the lower rate. We get you the cash you need to pay off those credit cards once and for all. Apply for a cash-out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert, LLC.
It is 8:35. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Kennedy inbound delays are from Lawrence to Randolph. It is 57 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 42 from Montrose, 38 in the Express, outbound 45 minutes to O'Hare. Eden's is good inbound, 19 minutes, Lake Cook to the Junction, outbound 36. About Eisenhower, 1 hour, 390 to downtown, 40 minutes from Manheim, outbound 55 minutes to 390. Stevenson is an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan, 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 30, 8094 to the Merge. Tri-State southbound slow 120 to 137, and from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound 95th to 31st, and in pockets from the Reagan Tollway to the Adams Tollway. But Adams Tollway heavy Beverly to Bartlett and Toohey to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway 53 to Roosevelt after Stoll. Northbound Veterans Memorial. Delays are from Boughton to Roosevelt and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, breezy, pleasant, sunshine today. High near 80, partly cloudy overnight. We'll have a shower toward dawn, a low of 60, and a high of 69 tomorrow. Currently 63. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Let freedom ring this afternoon at 2 with Sean Hannity, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, fresh off of his meeting with Kim Jong-un last week.
Oh, Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Trump meets the rump.
New York Postism. Trump and the summit meeting with Kim Jong-un is back on But it's going to be more of like an ice cream social.
Well, more of a meet and greet, kind of a rush. When you rush each other to see if you like each other, to see if you're, want to be part of the club. But Kim
Cocktails,
Jong-un,
light hors d'oeuvres, not sit-down dinner.
yeah, and Melania Trump is not going with.
No dates.
No, yeah. Kim Jong-un has been courted heavily. I mean, he had the Russian foreign minister over at the DMZ.
Yeah, Lavrov, yeah.
Lavrov was there, and now I'm hearing President Assad is going to be meeting with him in the next few days. So
yeah.
everyone wants a little piece of Kimmy, huh?
There's barely enough to go around. But for more on the summit being back on and what, if anything, productive is possible, we're pleased to be joined by Bill Gertz, senior editor for the Washington Free Beacon and author of the book I War, War and Peace in the Information Age. Bill, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, good to be on the show.
So, the gamesmanship of the summit being on, summit being off, summit being back on, notwithstanding, what are the possibilities here? I mean, is this going to be, is there any possibility of this to be Reagan and Gorbachev at Reykjavik, or should we calibrate our sights a little bit lower?
Yeah, I think the president telegraphed what was going to happen during his little chat with reporters before he headed off to Camp David on last Friday. And he basically said that they're looking at concluding the Korean War, which would be a significant step. As for denuclearization, the U.S. is holding fast to its position, which they're calling CVID, which is complete, verifiable, irreversible dismantlement. I don't see that happening just because of the nature of the North Korean regime, which is to keep the Kim family dynasty in power, and those nuclear weapons are the key guarantor. I don't think he's going to accept U.S. security guarantees.
Well, that's different than Trump said. Now maybe he's just trying to project a hopeful note, saying that he thought Kim Jong-un was interested in denuclearization.
Yeah, but he was then saying, he said, well, it may not happen all at once, and then it may happen over time. And to me, that's a trap, a negotiating trap by the North Koreans to get concessions, because what happened in the lead up to first the summit, then the summit being off, and now being on again, was that the U.S. made clear that it would not provide economic aid to North Korea until after denuclearization. Kim Jong-un then went and flew to Dalian, China, and met with Xi Jinping, and the word is that he was promised economic aid from the Chinese, and that's where you had this anti-U.S. sentiment coming out after that. So the Chinese were kind of subverting the summit, and I think the president expressed his concern about that. Then he canceled the summit, and then it appears that the North Koreans blinked and said, oh yeah, we want to have a summit, but this issue of denuclearization is obviously the key thing.
Well, why would President Assad want to have a face-to-face meeting with Kim Jong-un?
Well, Kim's stock is high now because he's going to be, this is a little tiny half-communist country that's been accused of crimes against humanity for its human rights abuses, and he's going to meet with the most powerful leader in the democratic world, and so he's gaining a lot of credibility among the rogue regimes of the world, and that's why they're all jumping on the bandwagon to snuggle up to Kim Jong-un.
How does the trade negotiations between the U.S. and China, which have now ended without a settlement, there was some hope that there was going to get some kind of agreement to help prop up the Chinese telecom giant ZTE in exchange for lowering tariffs on American agricultural goods. That seems to be by the boards at present. Well, how does that factor into China's posture with North Korea vis-a-vis the U.S.?
Well, yeah, the Chinese are still back on their heels with the U.S. North Korean summit. They were aced out. The president made clear last year that it was up to China to deal with North Korea, and obviously they didn't. They've had a duplicitous policy of saying they support the U.S. while secretly supporting North Korea. And now the president's tightening up his trade issue with China and sent over this Wilbur Ross Commerce Department delegation and didn't get any solution. And now the Chinese are threatening trade retaliation if the U.S. goes ahead with its big tranche of tariffs on Chinese goods, which is supposed to happen this month, I guess.
And what about our steel tariffs? I mean, on our allies, we've got the EU, Mexico, Canada. saying that it's a security threat. Can you explain that?
Well, the Trump administration has linked economic security with national security, and I think this reflects the president's view that that trade and business are his key strengths in terms of his experience as a businessman. So that's kind of what he's advocating. He's kind of very much made U.S. fair trade a part of U.S. national security. So he's elevated that as a key priority. I mean, the National Security Council doesn't do economics, but we have this National Economic Council, and the White House people, Peter Navarro in particular, is a real hawk on China. He's kind of been driving the train on these tough U.S. Trump administration posture on foreign fair trade.
Some of the president's detractors, like former CIA Director John Brennan, are suggesting that Kim Jong-un and the North Koreans are outflanking Trump. They're manipulating him. It's bad for America's national security. Is Trump engaging with Jong-un unilaterally at all? Is that folly, or is this does this have the potential to be productive, even if not everything we would like from the North Koreans, like denuclearization?
Yeah, I do have concerns that they are making too many concessions. But on the other hand, I think it's important to at least try to have a meeting and have a direct talks with this rogue state leader. And there's no harm in holding talks as long as you don't make too many concessions. And that's really the danger, as I mentioned, that the U.S. could make too many dangers. I was a bit concerned by a tweet recently by Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, where he said he was basically promoting the upcoming Singapore summit as saying, yes, the United States wants to see a strong, prosperous, and secure North Korea. I don't think that should be the U.S. policy at all. I mean, again, this is a horrible regime that has committed, literally, according to the UN Commission a couple of years ago, crimes against humanity in its treatment of its own people. So I don't know if we should be advocating for a strong North Korea.
And how are our South Korean allies responding to this on-again, off-again summit, and what trepidation do they have in terms of what may come from it?
Well, the current South Korean president, Moon Jae-in, is very conciliatory towards North Korea, not as much as others of his party in the past who have taken a very liberal approach and trying to basically an appeasement-oriented approach to try to develop closer ties with North Korea. But he has made some concessions. They've had a couple of meetings, and all the talks from South Korea are, let's try and give them aid. So there is concern that the South Koreans could disrupt this maximum pressure campaign, which the president has kind of backed off of now by offering North Korea aid in the future.
Now, President Clinton he's making all the rounds, because he's pushing a book, and he was upset that President Trump smiled with the North Korean top leader that was at the White House. He said, "You never smile to the North Koreans. You never give them that much power."
Well, Trump is not your average politician, and he does what he thinks is the best, and there's no book on what Donald Trump will do in his dealings. He comes at it from a completely different point of view, and a lot of people think that's a good thing. I mean, just obviously not the politics as usual kind of approach.
Yeah, right. I mean, the same people had no problem with Obama genuflecting before Islamic theocrats. Bill Gertz, senior editor for the Washington Free Beacon, author of the book I War and Peace in the Information Age. Bill, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, be careful when you do a flip-flop. But first, here's your forecast on this National Hug Your Cat Day. Plenty of sunshine to go in the alleys and look for a cat to hug. Watch your eyes. A high of 80 degrees, and tonight's shower in spots toward dawn. And then tomorrow morning, a stray shower Otherwise, not as warm. Clouds and sun, a high in the upper 60s. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Have you found a cat to hug yet, Jim Talamonte?
No, I haven't. Not yet, Amy. Trying to keep our home pet free, although the dog lovers are starting to sway things. On the Kennedy inbound, your delays start at Montrose, 52 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 40 from Montrose, 42 in the Express, outbound 43 minutes to the airport. The Edens is fine inbound, outbound heavy in pockets out to Skokie Road, 30 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. Eisenhower, an hour, 390 to downtown, 39 minutes from Manhunt, outbound 47 to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to the drive. It's just 35 minutes outbound. Bryant's 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State northbound delays are from 95th to 31st, from the Reagan Tollway much of the way to the Adams Tollway. Southbound from the Adams Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. Northbound Veterans Memorial slow from Boughton Toll to the Reagan Tollway, Finley to Roosevelt, and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
If you're a business owner, if you've experienced your fair share of emergencies, and they always seem to happen at the worst time, wouldn't it be nice to have someone on call 24/7 to help for whatever may come up? It's not possible for every emergency, but it's available for your business's IT and computer systems. With the support agreement from Turnkey IT, it'll keep your computer systems online and running with no worries. If an emergency does pop up, Turnkey IT is prompt and responsive without charging an enormous after-hours rate. The certified pros at Turnkey proactively keep your business computer systems online with remote and on-site support. And right now, for a limited time, you can save up to $500 a month on a support contract, plus unlimited cloud backup at no cost. Enjoy the secure feeling of your network being supported by Turnkey IT 24/7. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
Nowadays, there's an app for everything, and here's one that's a must-have if you golf. It's the Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app, and it'll enhance your golf experience. You can book tee times at Bolingbrook Golf Club. There's an interactive scorecard, golf games, a GPS, latest news from the club, even a food and beverage menu, Facebook sharing, and more. Just about everything you need for your golf game besides the clubs is in the palm of your hand with the new Bolingbrook Golf Club mobile app. Go to bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. bolingbrookgolfclub.com/contact/download our app. And download today.
Are you ready to take your golf game to the elite level? The Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training Program, or BEAT, is the highest level of training designed to maximize potential and develop highly skilled players. You'll learn from the Bolingbrook Golf Club's world-class instructors. They've designed practice schedules and content to maximize player development. For the athlete that aspires to compete and train at the highest levels, check out BEAT, Bolingbrook Elite Athlete Training. More info at bolingbrookgolfclub.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, it's been phenomenal watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. The thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you did not purchase health insurance coverage during the 2017 open enrollment, I can help you purchase a PPO health insurance plan at any time during the year. This is Tom Marabali, your health insurance advocate and independent producer for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois and other health insurance carriers. If you are between the ages of 19 and 64, you are automatically paying for maternity coverage whether you want the coverage or not. If you are a non-smoking 50-year-old male or female living in the city of Chicago, the monthly premium rate for a 100% tax-deductible health savings account PPO plan would be $590 per month. But I can show you how to eliminate the mandatory maternity benefit and lower your monthly premiums down to approximately $240 per month. To see if you qualify or for more information, call me, Tom Marabali, at 630-863-3477. That's 630-863-3477.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt?
I owe the IRS $37,000.
Get ready for a toll-free hotline. Take advantage of new IRS tax forgiveness programs that may protect you from IRS collection agencies. They have the power to garnish your wages, put liens on your property, and levy your bank account. Civic Tax Relief can help protect you from the IRS.
Civic Tax Relief basically represented me against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, I didn't owe the IRS anything.
Find out about the Fresh Start program that is now available through Civic Tax Relief. Civic Tax Relief's special tax hotline can help you discover all the relief programs available for free.
I would recommend anyone who has a tax problem to contact Civic Tax Relief.
Just call 800-210-6779. 800-210-6779. Don't wait. Call now. 800-210-6779. 800-210-6779.
For years, you've heard of St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, serving young men with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Now that same experience is available for your daughter. With summer vacation right around the corner, now is a great time to register your son or daughter for summer camp at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful region of southeast Wisconsin. It's a time to refocus from the distractions of life and explore the potentials in many areas of life. There's Camp St. John's Northwestern with 4 one-week sessions of outdoor activities for 10 to 16-year-olds and summer school for 5 weeks to recover credits or get ahead for full credit. Limited registration for co-ed summer camp is happening now, as well as the year-round school application process. Hurry, space is limited. For more information, call 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET. Or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Earnings vary based on your effort. Message and data rates may apply. Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses right here in Chicago? If so, we have an amazing opportunity for you. We're looking for a small group of motivated individuals to join our real estate investing team. You'll learn our simple 3-step system for flipping homes right here in the local area. This is Than Merrill, star of A&E's hit TV show Flip This House. My team and I are looking for a handful of people in the Chicago area who want to learn how to make money flipping houses in your spare time using other people's money. Chicago is a perfect market for my system, and next week I'm holding a free 2-hour educational workshop where you will learn how to make money flipping homes and how to build long-term wealth with income properties.
To get 2 free tickets to Than's workshop, text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Seating is extremely limited, so text your 5-digit zip code to 82,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and you'll also reserve a free copy of Than's Money for Deals guide. Just text your zip code to 82,000.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and I think we've got a leading candidate to resuscitate the Naked Gun franchise, Amy, Frank Drebin, the Frank Drebin character. He is a FBI agent who was off duty at a Denver nightclub.
Yeah, and he decided to do something different, trying to impress the ladies. He was part of a break dancing circle, and the women, they were watching him. He was noticed.
It was a breakdance circle, like quintessential breakdance circle.
Quintessential.
There was one man who was doing flips, and then he left, and the FBI agent, I guess, we didn't know that, he came on the scene and he did a backflip. And he was dancing, and then right as he did that backflip, his gun fell out and it hit the ground. It shot off.
Well, it didn't shoot off. He shot it off when he picked it up.
Yeah, if you watch the video in slow-mo, you can see him. He grabs it. Why would he pull the trigger while he's putting the... He was nervous or something.
There it is,
that's
right
what
there.
happened. Bullet hit a man in the leg. Thank goodness he's okay.
Thank goodness he didn't return fire.
ABC tried desperately to reach the FBI for comment. They're not commenting, but the Denver Police Department is investigating on whether or not to charge him.
Tough times for the FBI. This is not going to improve their standing in the public eye, I suspect. Now, we did get some audio. The FBI is not talking, but he's talking. We got some interaction between this off-duty FBI agent and his supervisor about the incident.
Oh, Drebin, I don't want any more trouble like you had last year on the South Side. Understand? That's my policy.
Yes, well, when I see 5 weirdos dressed in togas stabbing a guy in the middle of the park in full view of 100 people, I shoot the bastards. That's my policy.
That was a Shakespeare in the Park production of Julius Caesar, you moron. You killed 5 actors. Good ones.
So after that, of course, the FBI off-duty officer, he's going to be on suspension pending a full investigation. And so he sort of said farewell to his colleagues.
We shot a lot of people together. It's been great. But today I retire. So if I do any shooting now, it'll have to be within the confines of my own home. Hopefully it'll be an intruder and not an in-law like at my bachelor party. Blowing away a fleeing suspect with my .44 Magnum used to be everything to me. I enjoyed it. Well, who wouldn't?
Yeah, so it's not work when you do what you love is the point.
Exactly. Thanks so much for making us part of your Monday morning. Our thanks to Justin Kosick. He is the technical producer extraordinaire. Associate producer Quinn McCarthy, couldn't do it without him. And the team captain, most aggressive player, goes to Keith.
Is this like an Oscars award acceptance speech? Good Lord.
No, it's just because we're working on a side gig here. We'll explain tomorrow. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now let's go into the newsroom, catch up with news from here at home and around the world. Here is Mike Scott.
Hundreds honor a fallen Chicago